Hello, thank you, and welcome to Bridging the Gap. I'm your host, Kelly. I'd like to introduce the panel, and then I'd like to give them a chance to introduce themselves to go further into detail about who they are, and also if they want to mention their handles or anything that they do, any YouTube channels, you're more than welcome to. I'll let you start. Cheeky Banter, I have Sayeda, I have Amira, Trigger Mike, and Fatima. But Cheeky, you're more than welcome to introduce yourself first.
All right. My name's Cheeky Banner. I am a content creator here on YouTube. If you guys just type in Cheeky Banner, I'm the only one that pops up. So yeah.
Awesome. Go right ahead, Sayeda.
Hi, thank you for having me again. My name is Zaira, and I am from El Salvador. I speak two languages fluently, and I am here to just give my opinion.
Which we all love. Feel free, Amira. Is that your name in your language?
Yes, that's how you spell my name in Arabic.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I am Amira. I am Arab, of course, is the name. But let's see, I'm Arab. I speak maybe 4 languages, and I don't know what else to say. Like, I guess that's it, right?
Yep, whatever you're comfortable with. Trigger Mike.
What's up, y'all? I'm Trigger Mike. I call myself a YouTuber, just like Cheeky Banner. I don't even know nothing else. I'm joking, but I speak 2 languages. I speak English and Yoruba. For those of you who don't know what Yoruba is, it's a Nigerian language. All the language you hear and all that Afrobeats music you listening to is mostly Yoruba. So,
Okay,
yeah.
Awesome. And then Fatima is our newest guest. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
So I'm I'm a mom of 2 here in Texas. Just moved recently. Born and raised in Chicago. I'm South Asian, Indian culture. My husband's Pakistani, so just the whole South Asian and Muslim.
Awesome. Thank you. And Coach K, you're just in time for the introductions. Welcome. Thank you for joining.
Hello.
Did you want to introduce yourself? You're right on time.
Perfect. Hey Cheeky. Hey Mira, Trigger Mike.
So what's up?
Fatima? Fatima? Okay. It doesn't sound as beautiful, but it's a beautiful name. And say, I can't roll my tongue. Sayeda? I'm thinking too hard. Sayeda, whatever. Okay. Hello, and Kelly. Yes. So I'm Katie. What should I share? Just
whatever you're comfortable sharing. If you're just comfortable with the name, you can go that. You can list your handle, what you do.
Sure. So my name is Katie. I'm 27. I'm a life coach for teens and young adults. I help them learn how to manage their stress and their anxiety and create an exciting future. So thanks, guys.
Excellent. Well, thank you for everyone joining, and everyone that's watching, thank you for joining us today or tonight. I do have an icebreaker question. This is going to be an interesting one. Who's ready? All right, I actually wrote it down. So you're married, right? And if you're not married, play along. You're married. You go on a trip, girls trip to visit your family. When you come home, you find a hair in your bed, just one hair, and it belongs to someone of a different race. How do you respond? Dun, dun, dun.
Anybody? You said the hair is in the bed?
There's a hair in the bed, and it's not your hair. It's maybe a different color, a different texture. You know it's not your hair, which is one hair. What do you do?
On the bed, right?
On the bed.
So I have cameras all through my house, so roll playback.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Yeah, why not? I will also play that card if we have cameras. It's fair to use them, right?
Okay, so we're just checking cameras.
Camera outside my door.
Oh, you guys, okay. You know what? To make this fun, there are no cameras.
There's no cameras.
You don't have a camera. Okay,
you just confront the person. All right, like what?
You know what? As being a married person, I'm gonna tell you, there are a lot of things we play around with a lot, but you gotta be careful how you assume things. I've actually found hairs I used to be a assistant professor, so all my students were women. I found hairs all over my jackets, my lab coats, all that stuff before. So, if I'm going to put out an accusation like that, it can't just be baseless, right? Can't just be a hair. I'm a like, what's the smell in the pillow? Like, you see what I'm saying? It can't just be a hair. You got to be careful. You can't just throw out accusations like that when you're married. You'll break a lot of, especially, to a woman. She can get very emotional. If she didn't do anything, it's really going to be bad, So I would probably investigate further. I'm that type of person anyway, where I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Because I know I don't want to start nothing by just losing my stuff and giving out a baseless accusation. I'm gonna start the investigation very slow.
Okay, that's a very mature response, Sugar Mike.
No, but I completely agree. I would do the same. Trust is really big in a relationship. You can't, that's the core of a relationship, and especially marriage. So I would do a little, if you have a hunch, you should always follow it. You shouldn't be naive and just let things go. But, just, ask, just ask. And sorry, I have my little ones. So, just do small investigation or something, in the back, not bring it up to your spouse even. So I would just do something small and just let it go.
Okay. Would anybody else respond differently, or does anyone else have a different take?
Yeah, why would I don't know.
I
That
would think that
seems
there
like,
was kids.
it sounds like a Hollywood woman response. Like, there's a hair. Like, come on now. What are we
Send it to the lab, get the DNA from it, like all of that. I'm just kidding.
I wish
It's like CSI.
my girl would come to me crazy talking about whose hair is this? Probably yours. Like,
Well,
and then
Kelly,
the thing about it is, girls said like other speak. Like, I found hair in the fridge one time. Confused as I was, like, what is this in the fridge for? So
yeah, but I think that so it's like if I have blonde hair on the bed, my hair is not blonde. So that's what we're talking about. Like,
what I'm saying is, regardless, you guys, like, hair sheds. So, like Trigger Mike is saying, there's so many circumstances. Why is it that I'm unfaithful? Why can't you just crazy? You're crazy.
That's assuming. That's assuming.
Okay,
Kelly, I want to answer.
I don't think.
Go ahead.
So I don't know if in my case, if you're asking for everyone's cases, I would think that that there was children in the bed, like, we allow the kids to run through the house. I wouldn't automatically assume that, my husband would disrespect our home in that way. I would believe that most wives would have a husband that's respectful enough to keep the trash outside. If you're going to play with trash, you keep it outside of the house. I don't think that most husbands would be that dirty, that trashy, that doggish to bring, in the home where you lay down with your wife. And if you're that dirty, then the wife is already suspecting of you in the first place, most likely, because women aren't that dumb. We do suspect things because men aren't sneaky. So
They're not.
They're not good. No.
Okay. Sayeda, did you respond? I didn't know if you got a chance to answer the question.
I just wanted to say that I don't think, like, once you're married, do you actually just blow out like that and just, like, you're gonna kind of put your marriage in jeopardy just because you found something, instead of women usually don't just, and that's the reason why you don't let yourself drive through your emotions. Like, what we do usually is we keep it to ourselves and we start investigating. That's the normal behavior of a woman. Let's stop the crap. We usually will wait for the right moment. We will see every single behavior. That's what we do. We start noticing things. That's the reality. That's how it is. And that's what we start investigating. We start seeing the likes, is this person that give this like has the same type of color hair? That's what we will do. That's honest. Hey, I'm being real, right? So
yeah, until we learn to be better, right?
Of course. That doesn't
Put
mean
the hair in a baggie and be like, wait a minute, this is the same color.
Exactly. That's how we do it. So you don't just blow it out like that. You just don't say. You wait patiently. You wait, because at the end of the day, we want to be right. We want to be right. We want to feel like, okay, I'm not crazy. I wasn't tripping. He was doing something dirty. That's how it is.
interested in what the chat has to say about that too. So same thing for the guys though. You go on a trip and you come back, and let's say there is a white man's strand of blonde hair in the bed.
That wouldn't match, Kelly. I would say maybe there's a sock that isn't his, you know, because men don't carry
Sounds
their
like
long. So let's
I
I was about to say, like,
sock.
Okay.
Like, that's
Yeah,
really
I'm
long.
gonna say, we got cleaning ladies. We got all
if
types
we
of stuff
see
going on.
underwear that don't belong to us, it's like, hold on, who's laundry?
yo.
Who laundry you washing?
So
What's
here's the
going
crazy
on?
part about it. But like I said, you have to be very careful dishing out these accusations. There
She got
were
a
some
brother?
sweatpants in the laundry. I love doing my own laundry. I've loved it since I was in the military. I like how warm it is, and it's something that
Beta.
helps me think. And I do it while watching whatever new series I like is out.
Amir
Right?
not slick.
Yeah, so I go
You heard
and
that?
wash laundry.
Of course, I heard that.
There was some male sweatpants, Under Armour. They're still there in the laundry ones, and that was my moment to be like, damn sure not mine. But I had been gone all weekend and all that stuff, and I was just like, okay, I'm folding these, but where the hell do I put them? And then I just went like, whose sweatpants are these? Just naturally, I said it. Her sister came over to help her with the kids while I was gone. Her sister has a boyfriend whom I know, and he wears Under Armour everything. He's prior military, right? And I'm looking like, oh, that's why it has the little Armed Forces badge in it. Simple explanation. But if I'd have did it in a you see what I'm saying? She'd have been like, whoa, what's going on? Perfectly logical explanation. And then I thought to myself, oh, duh, she was over here all weekend helping you while I was gone. So that's why I said you got to pump the brakes, because you should have seen how I was looking at those sweatpants. Them things was wide as hell. Like,
These are not yours,
Yeah,
honey.
yeah, I mean, my first instinct is not to distrust. Maybe because I'm not out here being toxic and nothing toxic doesn't happen to me. Like, I ain't been cheated on. I don't cheat. So my expectation is like, okay, there's got to be a reason. Who's all there? All right. Like, and if you think you can just cheat and get away with it, if you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. To me, I can't bother my head over something like that. I'm not going to be like a woman. Like what she described, Sierra, she Inspector Gadget. I don't got time. I got to make money. We got to pay bills. There's other things going on in life. I can't be sitting here trying to figure out what's going on with you. Just don't cheat.
yeah, I was gonna say that's how women use their intuition, man. So they call it female intuition. They just nosy. That's why they'll.
But hold on. Did you see?
Okay, so
No. Mike, you missed the part where she said, "I want to be right." I'm like, wait a minute.
Hey.
What?
So
do you want to explain?
I have a question for you guys. So if someone lies, and I have noticed this on these panels, if a woman says something that you don't like, you call it cap and you think that she's lying. If a woman says something like what I said, which is normally a normal behavior of a woman, whether you like it or not, is a normal behavior, you don't like it. And you're automatically saying,
do you know what the difference is between us?
Hold on. I'm not done yet. So what I'm saying is that that's a normal behavior of an immature person. That's at some point I have done it too. I've done it in the past. But you get to a point that if the person is going to cheat, is going to cheat regardless. That doesn't say much. It's not a good person. Whoever does it for whatever reason, that's on them. And you get to learn that. So I'm like, we get the question, like, what we'll do if my partner is cheating, if I think that he's cheating. So we have to swallow the pill. And like, if he cheats, he's a man. But what will you do? Trigger Mike said, okay, logically, but because you found something that gave you an idea that belonged to someone. But what if it wasn't? You immediately say you go straight to the cameras. So that's why I say, if I can play that card safe, why I cannot do the same? So it's just because I'm a woman, I don't have the right to do those things, but you can. And feel, insecure in a way, because that's what it creates. It creates insecurity. That's all I'm saying.
Saira with the smoke tonight. So you the one we got to come for? Got it.
Okay. With the smoke. She know what the smoke said. That wasn't smoke at all. I think there was a misunderstanding because nobody demeaned a woman for anything. All I said was, I'm not going to be like a woman. I just made a very different comparison. I'm not going to do the things that you described. That sounds
and
stressful.
that's fair.
Right.
Because we're women and you guys are men. You are different. Men check phones, men cheat, men they do things. So just
Whoa.
like, you know,
So wait, hold on. It's
I'm not
almost like
saying
you.
you.
check
I'm not
home.
saying you.
Whoa.
I'm not saying you or anybody here. I'm saying that there's men out there that do that. Like, in fact, actually, I've been in a situation that I say, good night, I love you. He left. And then the next morning, his mom calling me, like, is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm still not getting it. What's going on? And then he's like, and then her silence tells me, like, he didn't go to sleep to the house. And she's like,
He didn't
no,
go
he's not
home.
here. So the first thing that came to my head is not cheating. It's like something happened to him, because he never done that. He's never done something like that irresponsibly, not telling anyone where he was. So we started calling him, and then I'm thinking, oh, I hope that he stayed with his friends. Still, I'm not thinking that he's cheating, because I never thought, I was not feeling insecure at all. So I wasn't feeling that way. I wasn't thinking that. When I call him and then he picked up and he said, no, I've been here the entire time. That's what got him, the lie, because his mother already told me that he wasn't home. So he could have said, I stay with my friends until today, we'll probably be together, because I wouldn't know that he went and cheat. But he lied and he said, no, I've been here the entire time. BS. So you see?
Damn. One lie.
One lie.
Broke it all up.
You guys are very mature. I have to give everybody their,
Sugar Mike, I swear.
because I
Well, again, I think it's like I said, I'm not toxic, and I haven't been in any toxic situations, right? I think if you ask the panel how many of y'all been cheated on, that'll probably better explain what and why. But me, like, I'm out here being fresh, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody cheating on me. I'm not cheating on nobody.
But it does happen, which is why that is the topic of the evening. I'll tell you what I would do if I found a hair. I would probably take a wet wipe and wipe every single piece of the house to see if I can find multiple hairs. Like, one, okay, I'm not sure. And if I find two or three, oh, that's it. Because she dropped them, okay? It wasn't just, oh, this single hair fell off my jacket onto the bed. If I find one or two,
So, I mean,
evidence.
I'm guessing finding hairs in the house, especially in the bed, constitutes something happened in the house, correct?
Right. I mean, if it's
So, to me,
similar,
I'm really just floored at the fact that somebody could be that messy, especially a man. Like, you want to be that messy to just carry on in your house?
didn't the guy do it? Who's the
Where
popular?
your wife and your children sleep? That, you know, I've heard, we've all definitely heard stories, but that has to be extremely rare. Like,
Who's
literally,
the popular guy, the one that just broke up with his wife, the one you guys say panders to women.
Derek
Jackson.
Didn't he do it? Didn't they find, like, she took pictures in their house when she was out of town, when the wife was out of town?
I don't.
Well, that's expected from him. I mean, that's different, right?
The super saver simp? No.
Yeah.
I mean, no man should really be that stupid. Like,
I know it happens. I know men do it. I know.
Yeah, it definitely happens. But I mean, that's look. All jokes aside, the messiness for me is what I can't tolerate.
Well, I would like to move into the first question, because I always like to go have a definition or like a solid foundation of what we're discussing. I wanted to get everyone's opinion on a clear definition of what cheating is to them, or being unfaithful. What does that actually look like? Some people may say, oh, going on a date. Some people may say flirting, conversation, or actual sex. I don't know where that line is drawn for most people. Everyone's different, so that's kind of what I want everyone to go through first.
I don't believe cheating is a thing. I don't believe it's real. These couples that are boyfriend and girlfriend, I do not believe that you can be cheated on if you're a girlfriend or boyfriend because you're not married. I believe only married people can commit adultery, which you could call it cheating. Adultery would be doing anything with the other sex that you know that you could not do in front of your wife or husband. If there's something that you're doing that you can't do it in front of your wife or husband, you're being sneaky, which leads to other things. So in that way, I would see it as cheating.
Okay. So we have Amir's definition. Does anyone have a different one they'd like to share?
I think I'm about to say, I think you can cheat even if you aren't in a marriage. I think cheating, just by definition, is there's a level of deceit or trickery, right? And so you don't have to be in a relationship, or you don't have to be married in order to be deceptive in your movements. Like, I think cheating is being deceptive to what you said or what you try to establish through your words, right? So if I say, hey, even if we're not married, hey, I'm only dealing with you, and then I establish a verbal, contract that says this is the extent of how we interact with each other, and then I break it through deceit or not keeping that, or maybe not keeping it, but just through deceit, that's cheating. But if I say, hey, we interact this way, but I also interact with other people, I can never cheat because I let you know. Like, there's no deceit in that. I was very clear in that. So that's my thoughts on it. Because cheat doesn't imply marriage, nowhere in the definition of it.
Yeah. I got a similar definition to Cheeky's. It's deceptive or dishonest behavior that involves but is not limited to having sex with someone else. So,
Anyone else have anything different? Because I kind of want to have that base before we go into the next topic.
I would say, though, just to add an additional layer, because I do agree with Cheeky and Trigger Mike. However, I would say it has to involve, at least for the men, some type of sexual interaction, because you can be, deceitful, but that's not cheating. Like if you're lying about finances or something, definitely still bad, but that's not cheating. And then, so it would have to be some type of physical, it doesn't have to be sex, I would say, even just like kissing or whatever. And then for men and women, but also I would add for women, I don't know if I want to go as far as to say cheating, but I would say it's pretty much up there. If you're messaging guys and if you're acting inappropriately, that's cheating. And in my opinion, for women. So yeah, if that makes sense.
Sayeda, did you have a different, or Fatima? Is it Fatima or Fatima? Pronounce it for me.
It is Fatima, but Fatima, is fine.
Sorry if I didn't say it right. I was getting roasted with that.
You said it right. I would say that it's not just the physical. I would say texting, anything that sexting, anything where you're forming an emotional attachment to someone, and again, like you guys said, sneaky, deceitful, dishonesty, but also, I don't just say the physical. I say if it was just, even just somehow emotional. So they don't have to have physical touch, even if it's just, through phone and
because you could cheat in your mind. You could.
Oh, well, no, not that. So not that. That's like that. No, not mine. I wouldn't say, it's between two.
You could have fantasies about people. Is that not considered? No.
That's paranoia. If I'm like, what are you, thinking and all that? I can't. That's too much. But I would say, just
She said, "What are you thinking?"
Yeah.
Like you're cheating in my dreams. Because no, I've heard women say, like, I can tell you're not here. Like, who are you thinking about while they're sleeping with another woman? I've heard of that.
Oh, right.
That's crazy. That's like trying.
That is a little bit much.
I haven't heard that. That's paranoia.
But I get what they're saying. Right, but
No, I agree with your definitions. I would say the moment that you get into a situation or try to get like it's same dynamic from like what you have with your partner. It's kind of like you want to replace your partner. So whatever you're supposed to be doing with your partner, you're doing it with someone else. And then you start giving the attention that you used to give initially to your partner. Now you're giving it to someone else. That one thing takes you to another one. So if you started with the flirting and that's how it starts, and then if you keep going, it's just gonna get you to to that point. So it's the initiation, when you start seeing someone with with different intentions, I'll say.
Can I add something too, Kelly?
Of course.
You were talking about the definition of cheating. Also cheating, the definition when it comes down to rules in sports, and so it's just breaking the rules, right? Cheating is breaking the rules in sports, and you could also transfer that into relationships and marriage. You're breaking the rules that we set up from the beginning were like monogamy, if that is part of your rules in your relationship, or not sharing yourself emotionally, spiritually, physically with others, just breaking the rules in general, right? I forget who brought it up. I don't know if, it was Fatima. She said something about the emotional aspect of it, that you can emotionally cheat. Sharing yourself emotionally, would you still, okay, the question is, would you still consider punishment to your spouse because they cheated emotionally, or would you say that that was something that you did wrong that put your spouse in that position to be emotionally available for another person?
You're asking me?
Mm-hmm. Or anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, punishment, I don't know what, punishing a spouse for emotionally cheating. Yeah, I mean, there's levels, right? Because it's emotional, it wasn't physical. So yeah, I mean, it would be not severe, like such a big thing, but it would still be like, there's levels. So I think that would be like that first level and things like that. And so that would be definitely something that needs to be discussed. And then it just gets to higher levels, and then there's just more and more consequences. That's what I'm saying.
Because that
Can you guys give an example of
other things? Go ahead.
Sorry. Can you guys give an example of emotional cheating? Probably I don't have it on top of my head right now. Like,
when I was referring to emotional, I was just thinking of like when you're texting someone and you're somehow in communication with someone, and it's between two people, not just in our mind, and that.
Could that be like dreaming about someone too? Like dreaming about another person? Would that be emotional?
I think she means like if you're giving what you would normally give to your spouse or your
like confiding in
like
them.
Going on. Yeah, you're confiding them, asking them what they think and how they feel. You guys are having conversations deep when you should be doing that with your significant other or your spouse. So is that
some of y'all hard? So we can't talk to y'all.
Yeah, someone in the chat said intimate communication. Yes.
Oh, Lindora said that. Oh.
Well, y'all be cheating on therapists, huh? Y'all just be talking to y'all therapists, telling you.
That's
some
different.
wives and husbands.
That's an expensive cheating.
Well, that's how it's supposed to be.
No, I don't think so, because they're helping you work through your issues, and you can even have a couples therapist, and you could do it together. So was it like a threesome? Is that a threesome then?
Oh my.
Chiki, you're muted.
I know. I'm just talking to myself. Some things don't need to be said.
No, something that really caught my attention, and I really like that Amira said, is that is an agreement. Marriage is an agreement, and from the moment that you go through, if it's a religious marriage, for example, and you're marrying under that religion, is under that foundation, you're already breaking the rules. And a lot of people try to say, oh, just because he cheated, la 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 la, it's breaking the rules. So it only works when the woman does it, but not when the man does it, because apparently they don't believe that the men should go under this. But it's not every religion. So I would say that if that's your foundation and you're marrying under those circumstances, under that contract, because at the end that's what it is, then you're breaking the rules.
So I actually agree with Amira's definition more so than anyone else's, because
I win.
no, I mean, I think of it more from
she cheated.
Whatever.
I did not cheat.
I think of it more from a Christian standpoint. So like the way I was raised, you're not supposed to have sex outside of marriage, but a lot of people today, they do have sex outside of marriage. So yes, you can cheat now, but you really aren't supposed to be cheating, because you aren't even supposed to make it to that point before marriage. So can you cheat on someone you shouldn't even be sleeping with?
I had somebody in the chat say, oh, that made no sense when I said it. I'm like, well, if you're a person who grew up traditionally, you would understand that you're not supposed to be having sex with nobody anyway. So the fact that you are having sex and you're expecting monogamy from someone that you aren't committed to fully,
commitment, that lifetime commitment. So
your relationship isn't even seen in the eyes of God. You're not even really legit for us. So really, can you really cheat on someone that you haven't committed to in that way before God? I don't know.
Yeah, if you're not married, the saying goes, if you're not married, you're single. I love how people try to make so many different circumstances to legitimize their relationship. And yes, if it's a true relationship that is a true courtship, and you see the stages in which a man is taken to ultimately make you his wife, then nobody wants to say there's leeway there, because yes, we've all slept with the person. Well, most of us slept with the person before we married them. But these situationships that people are trying to say he cheated on me, and absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It depends,
Doesn't-
because the way I see it is like, if me and you, Trigger Mike, you have a business, or we have a business together, we're partners, we, and shake hands. It's a verbal agreement that we do, and it's valid according to what I know in the US. A verbal agreement, even over the phone, when you're talking to a customer, is a verbal agreement, so you cannot lie about it. And if me and you have an agreement of exclusivity, and then I
Yeah.
break the rule, automatically it's cheating, regardless. If I like it or not, that's what it is.
So what you're talking about, something is legally binding, right? Even a handshake deal in some context, if you get it on camera, can be legally binding. Sex is not legally binding.
Right.
Feelings and emotions are not legally binding. So exactly, if a man can't break his promise to you because this is his promise, he cannot. Any dude can, like literally, all these women that say, "Oh, this is my dude," or "we're together forever." I mean, you got to look at how some people look at them like, you don't know how bad this dude is gonna play you. He's getting the milk for free. You see what I'm saying? And even if a dude naturally feels like he wants to marry a woman and she just lets him carry on without that promise, right? Without anything substantial to solidify the relationship. So when we get into this particular sphere of relationships, I don't believe it applies in that business sense that you're making. You know what I'm saying? Because that is, that's purely business. It can be like those handshake deals, verbal agreements are legally binding. All of that has legal precedence. But relationships, people have been carrying on in those things.
It's like, it's your word. It's more like you trust the word of that person. So it's more like the value of your word, and how valuable your word
And
is.
you also got
I don't think it is valid. But however, I wanted to say that if that's not cheating, then all these women are not cheating if you're not married with them.
No, I agree.
That's true. One thing I wanted to add too is that, and I do think the world would be a much better place, especially the Western culture, Western society, if we did look at marriage as such and relationships as such. You're single unless you're married, and I feel like that adds more of a serious, I guess, aspect to it, which I think needs to be added anyway. No one's taking marriage seriously, so it's like you might be more willing to get married, or no one wants to be cheated on, let's be honest. So it's like, okay, maybe you might not fool around because that's a possibility. I don't know, but I think that is not a bad standard to have, which is how it should be, I think, which is what Amira said, and Kelly. So
But unfortunately, in the Western culture, it's like, "Hi, my name is Kelly. Do you want to have sex?" It's like, let's go to dinner and then we have sex. There's nothing special to it anymore. It's just like,
I've been wanting to say that in a long time, because for you, dating is already automatically includes or involves sex.
I don't think it should.
Because for us, we can say you're actually getting to know someone and there's no sex involved.
I mean, you guys have heard me. I'm on record saying that if you're seriously looking, especially man or woman, to date someone seriously, leave sex out of it for as long as possible. Right? I had to, for the love of God, like, I still remember how hard it was not to have sex with the woman that eventually became my wife. She was my type. So I'm like, good God, look at this dress. I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna send you in an Uber. So yeah, because if I drive you, things are gonna happen. So yeah, it's hard, but we got to understand that sex is the common denominator in every bit of distraction that is the courtship process. Right? There are things that you want to get to know about a person, or that you wanted to dig deeper and seek a bit more, but sex got in the way, so you just threw it to the wind. Because now, in a man's eyes, that is our biggest distraction. We stop looking for anything. Is it me? Or
what'd you say, Cheeky?
There's an echo.
Yeah, I was echoing, but somebody went on
mute. You can mute in between.
Yeah,
I'll get rid of that.
But yeah, that is our biggest distraction. Men, if you're really looking at it, we can see that we stop digging deeper to know the person, and we pretty much halt and start a superficial relationship right at that point where the sex happens. You stop trying to get to know more about her family, more about her personal interests and values, what characteristics and things she likes, because you just want to get that box again. So if you want a serious relationship, I suggest, well, if you want to at least get in a serious relationship, try to keep sex out of it as long as possible for most people.
Can I ask you guys something? Well, the men especially, and Cheeky, this will be interesting because I know, that you haven't had sex, which I think is an admirable thing. So, and I saw someone comment in the chat about how men, they always talk about how much they need sex, and how it's kind of like a contradiction in a way from the woman that they want to potentially marry, whatever. We don't have to get into that. But do men need sex so much because of things like prom, for example, if you get what I'm saying? Because I think that dings the algorithm or whatever, but or just how sexualized our culture is. Is that why they need it so much? Is it true? Like, have men always needed it this much?
I was like, prom. You mean corn? Are you talking about corn?
That's a better one, but corn.
Yeah. Okay. Now
I
I'm
was gonna
like,
say prom. Wait,
Yeah,
I
I have
would've
no
been
idea what
confusing.
prom was. I was like,
Corn, yeah.
is that when they lose their virginity? Like, I don't.
Right.
Adult
so
movies.
Adult movies.
I
let
got
me
it
let me
now when you say
let me say this
corn.
about Cheeky. So when
On
I
the
found
top.
out that about Cheeky, I thought he was lying. So he's not lying, and this is one of the cool things about that. He still holds all the power. He still holds all of his power because he's a virgin.
And let me acknowledge that I know testosterone, men are different. I'm not stupid. I get that. I'm not like these toxic women. I understand that it's different for men and women. So let me just say that. But men have always had testosterone. I'm sure the levels are different. Let's be honest with diet and plastics and things like that. But I'm saying as far as the actions and behaviors of men of today,
Yeah.
do you guys think that they need it maybe as much or whatever because of the behaviors that I mentioned before?
I honestly don't think it's any different. It's our biological makeup. Or if you look at the animals we're most related to, they behave the same way, right? They want a mate that I tell this story all the time to where I feel like women sometimes think that men have a switch and we can just turn it on and off. Absolutely not. If you are a mature male going into your upper teen years, if you do not ejaculate, your body will do it for you. That's how bad you need to ejaculate. You will start having wet dreams about the woman you desire and wake up in just a puddle like, whoa, like graphic story. I woke up like, what, I didn't lose my virginity until I was 17 years old. So my body was like, it's time, bro. You're a full grown adult at this point, body wise, right? So that's letting you know there's a biological component to that testosterone and need to release. It is a biological need. I'm telling you right now, well, the reason why I said Cheeky holds all of his power is because I gave my power away. And then I succumbed to it for many years, right? And I now feel kidnapped and held hostage by my need to do it all the time, right? So it's like even my wife sometimes is like, wow, you're such a good sport. Because, it's like, damn, even when, I feel like right now, didn't I just hit her up for this? But it's that need. It's because I gave my power away. I let it kind of take over me for a while. And even though there's a natural component, there's a desire component, there's like a fetish component. So that's really why it's really biological. And I think we don't speak about it enough how much men have to have conscious control over their libido. It's really, really hard. That's why when we talk about cheating and the reasons it's different for men and women, if you knew what we were dealing with internally, y'all would see it differently. I promise.
Well, the truth is that sex in men has gone down significantly in the Western world in the last, I want to say 50 years. The scientists there's many reasons for it, just like Coach K said, plastic and diet and the things that's in our food, the hormones that's in our food and water. But Kelly and Kate, Coach K, guys, you guys know that men before had higher testosterone and higher sex drive. Now there's more men reaching the age of 30 as virgins than ever before. Before, this was unheard of for a man to reach the age of 25, 30 and still be a virgin. But now we have a significant amount of our men reaching 30 and being virgins. But this isn't because they choose to. For the majority of them, this is because of that whole 80-20 rule that's going on, that women think they're too good for most men.
Interesting.
I think it's when we say sex is needed, like it's one of those things on if it doesn't happen, it's not like you die, right? That's the thing. It's not as if a man is just going to wither away because he didn't have sex. And I think the stats has proven that, especially what Amir just said. These men are still men. They may not like the position that they're in, and they may develop, I guess, mental whatever, but I don't know if it's due to sex or just them something being wrong with them. So it's hard to determine that because it's not a mandatory thing to the where a man cannot function if he just doesn't have sex, but it's part of any relationship that I can think of. Like I don't know any relationships or marriages where a man isn't having sex, and if that's the case, he's not happy. So I thought marriages or relationships was built upon making each other better and each party doing their duty. So if you're not doing your duty as a woman, that thing that's totally different. But as a single male, you don't got no sex. Not like we're gonna blow up, like, you know. Well, we'll blow up, but yeah.
And with that, I do kind of want to segue into the next question. I think that was like a perfect moment there. The question is, and I want to kind of start it with a quick story. Do religious beliefs hold weight in a person's decision to cheat or not cheat? And the reason I thought of this question is because my father was not born into a specific religion, but when he turned 22, he became a Christian. He eventually became a pastor, gave his life to the Lord. But when he was 22, I mean, he was a bit of a ladies' man when he was younger, but when he turned 22, he stopped having sex, and he promised God that he was not going to have sex again until he met his wife. And he didn't get married until he was 28. So he was celibate for 6 years. So that was someone who had tasted it and then gave it up for 6 years because of his commitment that he made to God. So I'm wondering, I guess in the aspect of cheating, will that stop someone, man or female, if they have something to back them, like a higher power?
No.
Just really? I just gave you that powerful story and just
that's
such a
not
great
stopping
story.
nobody from cheating. What you
And
talking
it's such
about?
a great exception, but not the rule. Let me try to put it to you like this. We can see now in America in general, people do not operate under any doctrine of religion. You know, even if you call yourself a Christian, you don't operate that way on a day-to-day basis. What religion becomes a part of, it becomes, have y'all ever heard the saying, you're not sorry you did it, you're sorry you got caught? Okay, so religion becomes a part of the shame process. That's when people bring it up. You're supposed to know better. You a Christian man. That's when you see religion pop up. And the reason we know this is because pastors cheat, right? So nobody's thinking about it. Like religion was that thing when we were young. I thought my wee-wee was going to catch on fire if I did it when I was young. That's how they made me feel. That's how religion made me feel. Like, yep, I'm gonna
It
get
works until you're 17.
HIV if I have sex. Before, that's what I thought because of religion. Then you start to grow up and realize nothing's really, yes, consequences can happen, but oop, I tried it once, it didn't happen. I try it again, and that's when religion kind of takes a backseat. Terrorist alert.
Hey, Trigger. Hey, Cheek. Hey, everybody.
Hey, Curry,
girl.
you know I'm just playing with you.
No, I know.
Welcome,
We good. We got to understand them.
We have an understanding. I'll repeat the question. I know you just came on curves because everyone hasn't had a chance to answer. Trigger Mike just started with absolutely no. So hopefully we get some other answers based on other religions and cultural backgrounds. But the question is, hold on, I want to read it. Do religious beliefs hold weight in a person's decision to cheat or not cheat? That is the question. Anyone have a better answer than Trigger Mike? I need some hope.
I
Go
have
ahead,
it from a
Coach. Were you
Muslim
about to say something? Oh, okay.
I have it from a Muslim perspective.
Oh,
Islamically. Oh, go ahead, Coach.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say. I guess
No,
it
not you. I was talking
sorry,
about
I was gonna say, but my mouse was far away. I'll wait. No, you guys are good.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay,
Shut up, Jiggy.
What? Miracle, and then
Well-
Curves, and then Coach.
Deal. Okay, so Islamically, we have when you're talking about religion, it's not. We see it differently, I want to say, because in our culture, well, in Islam, you can have more than one wife. So those things will be spoken about probably at home with the wife, and it could be a possible thing, but it's not brought on for lust. It's not, a man doesn't get another wife for lust. He gets her for provision and other reasons, mostly for family building and so on. And as for would we be deterred from cheating because of our religion? Yes, because in our religion, adultery is one of the worst sins as well, and especially women. I don't know if you're talking about men or women, Kelly, but for women, adultery, we can get killed for that. I mean, that is a big deal culturally and religiously for us. But there also has to be witnesses to verify that you were cheating or what have you, and it takes a long process, and not just one person can come and accuse you of cheating and then you get stoned to death or something like that. That doesn't happen. It has to be at least 4 people who have seen you with that person or have seen you doing certain things. It's a long process for us. So religion does deter cheating a lot in our culture. Does it happen? Of course it does, because men will be men. And yeah, I guess just like the Christian way, you say, the Christian man, he still does have sex outside of his marriage. The Muslim men do too.
Can I just quickly add to that, because we're talking about Islam? So I would say it's not just women. And by the way, it's men and women. They both get punished. And Sharia law, which if yes, you need witnesses, it has to be validated, all of that, but it is equal for both. I'm probably, culturally, men, get a pass, or like they, women are sometimes a little bit more criticized and things like that. I get that. But, in the Quran, it is both men and women, and Sharia law is only, practiced in only so many countries, very few countries it is. But, that's the rule is that they would, get like 100 lashes, or for adult.
Men and women would?
Yeah, men and women. So, it is equal in both. I did check that. It's lashes. It is, and if they're married, then yeah, they could be stoned to death, even like some very harsh, extreme stuff.
Even
yes,
like today, like if that happens.
Honestly, I don't.
And that's mostly for the honor of your family too. For the honor, I mean, like you just messed up the whole family dynamic. Sorry, Fatima.
No, that's true, and that's a cultural aspect. Is like, what will the family say? What will society say? All of that, but just religion-wise, yes, there are rules, but it's seldom followed. It's seldom, now, in this day and age, it's not as much. But and on a personal level, I would say that religion still does, hold weight. Of course, like, I've had my journeys of up and down. Yes, I was grown up, like, with a little bit of fear base, like you have to do this, you have to do that. You become an adult, and then you're free, and you don't know what to do. You kind of relearn things. You do it in your own way. But, I've, and I'm still on a journey. You know what I mean? I sometimes I'm like, oh, I could do more, or I could, and things like that. So there's always, we're just always on a journey. Sometimes we're a little bit less, sometimes we're doing more in religion. So it's just, on a personal basis, I would say.
Now, would you decide to teach your children like exactly what you were taught, or do you kind of teach them?
It's my parents, they came from India, a little bit strict upbringing. So I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like, we always try to do better than what we, kind of grew up with. So, it's not like they were like, crazy strict, but, I just do a little bit more leniency. We're like a conservative household here, and it's there's or moderate. Sorry, we're moderate, and so balance is really big for me. Religion and world both. So.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. Curves, did you want to say something? I know Coach K was going to go after you.
I was just gonna say, I guess it depends on your religion, and I don't know everybody else's religion, but that can play an effect into like your decisions on cheating. But I think some people still cheat. You know what I mean? Like they could have a religion, they still step out. And it's like, how strong is your faith? How important is that to you? And I feel like that really plays a factor in like what you decide to do. Because I mean, I hear people say, "Oh, I'm a Christian all the time," or "I'm XYZ," and they still party and they do whatever, everything else that the world does. So you can't really see them set apart. So it just really depends on how important it is to you, your religion. But I think most people are able, like most people, they would cheat. I'm saying like I just think it's depend on how strong their faith is. That's it.
I think it's based on principle.
Hold on, Cheeky. Coach was next. You're up. She was waiting.
Yeah, you better calm down, Cheeky. All right, I'll say everything. Real quick. So I think what Trigger Mike said is true for definitely some people. I think of any religion. However, I think, and this is just my belief, I'm a Christian, and I've really been strengthening my faith since over the past year. So I would say it definitely holds weight because it's like, first of all, I have beliefs as far as which I believe that morals are objective because I, have my faith in God. But first, it's wrong. I would never want to do that to my spouse. So there's things like that. But also knowing that it is exactly what God says not to do is more of a reason for me to it's like checking the boxes, to whether I should do something or not. So I would say for me and my faith, it probably holds the most weight, but I already wouldn't do it anyway because I think it's wrong. So yeah. All right, Cheeky, go ahead.
Get your turn. I do have a question for you quick before you go, Cheeky. Is faith the reason why you preserved yourself? Like, are you waiting for like your wife? That was for you, Cheeky.
You, Cheeky, you're the only one, I think.
I know. I'm not finna assume, you know what I'm saying? But no, it's not because of faith. No, I'm not religious. So I wouldn't. Well, maybe faith. So sure, maybe for faith, but for bigger reasons, just the impact, right? I think people simplify sex and the impact that it has on both individuals. I don't think people are really considerate about that when they have sex. I don't think they recognize the impact that they have. So I've been observant since I was in high school, middle school, and I would remember how, women who were virgins would behave and then how they would behave after the fact. I remember some dudes like not being able to just break this one chick who was not good for. It was just, I've seen a lot of different things. And then when you add that with faith and, your understanding of God, also just asking your parents questions and then they answer honestly. It puts you it makes you like, I'm gonna be smart about this, right? Especially me as a man. Like as a man, I view myself as a leader, so that means I'm responsible for myself and her. So if I'm going to do that, I'm taking on a burden of responsibility that I think most men miss when they just decide to have sex. Mm-hmm. You don't have to feel emotionally responsible for anybody, but if you look at yourself as a leader, that kind of plays a role. So if I have a wife and I'm having sex with her, I have some responsibility to how she feels during that process or during that encounter. So, that's just my thoughts on it.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is she a virgin?
Yeah.
That's what we were asking him.
Don't nobody believe it though.
So cool. No way.
No, I believe you. You can tell.
It's not cool.
No.
Stop.
Stop.
Trigger Mike. Like, if we keep it a bean, it's not cool. You wanna know why
It
it's
is
not cool?
cool.
No, it's not. Women don't like virgins. Why are we capping?
I was gonna say, yeah.
That's
So
bullshit.
that part, like
straight
that
up.
The
part,
right
women like
woman
men
will-
with experience. Like
Heck,
y'all
no.
can't cap.
Trigger
How
Mike.
you gonna say what women like?
It is cool, actually.
Because I'm a
Right.
man and
How
I'm
dare you?
Oh, no. Wait, hold on. It's
How dare
crazy.
you?
Because women will say that, and I'm telling you, women will say it when they'll say it. They'll say these things.
A 304 will say that.
That is so cool.
Wait, hold on. You say what? Curves?
A 304.
No. Curves. What did you say?
Me?
Oh,
Yeah.
I said I almost married.
Almost. You said almost.
It was no different.
Okay.
Different factors. It had nothing to do with him being a virgin. It had nothing to do with him being a virgin.
Look at Trigger Mike, bro.
It's pure. You don't have you don't have nothing to compare anything to. I get to turn you out the way I want to. Like, what do you? That's great.
The fact that you're trying to turn me out is crazy. Like, that's another.
Oh my gosh.
Like, you're not turning me out. That's crazy.
Cheeky.
Whatever.
In
I'm a
all
grown man.
seriousness,
Cool.
I think it's
in all seriousness, it does speak to the level of discipline, like kind of like a guy who lifts. Like that is a reflection of the discipline and the dedication and the consistency that is required to get such results. So seriously, I mean, it does speak to your character, I will say.
all right. So,
Coach K, would you marry your husband if he was? I'm not sure if you're married yet. I don't know if you're.
I'm married legally.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm married. Yeah,
If he was a virgin, would you still marry him?
absolutely.
See.
all right. So
Yeah.
One
Can I
woman.
go now?
Congratulations. And she's taken.
and I was like, can I go now?
I
So
think,
yeah,
I think
so
it is
Curve.
cool. I will say that. I think
Yes,
I have my
yes.
reasons
So-
why. I'll go over after.
y'all have to understand the arena we're in. All right. Right now, we're sitting on a podcast talking. All right. But men experience women. We experience your responses to things. This is the reason why every man is fighting tooth and nail to bring value to himself, to be able to get enough women to where women know that women want what other women want. Period. The time I have been most attractive in my life is when I'm more sexually experienced. I look the part. I got gray in my beard lined up, edge up all tight. Women know because other women are looking at me, and while I'm conversing with this one, that one looking at me, that's the dude women want. And the funny thing about it is, in the heat of the moment when you have to choose between the two, y'all always go with the experienced dude. His virtue, you see what I'm saying? His virtue is
With the side of STDs. Thank you very much.
So listen, look at the choices women are making in society today, and you're telling me they're gonna be like, no experienced man. I know you flipped me over like a pancake last night and ate it from the back, but I'm going with Cheeky because I can turn him out. Y'all not gonna say that.
And then you think Cheeky
y'all
wants
talking
you?
about?
No. Like,
No, you with this flipping them over like a pancake trick. I can't.
I'm
Whoever
just saying,
sexually
I like
dominates
to
you,
make pancakes, not
or
them
gives you
flipping
that,
cold and
you see
juice
what I'm
and
saying?
syrup.
Whoever gives you that feeling, just the same way we said men have become slaves to sex, women have become slaves to the same thing.
Cheeky, I have a sister for you.
Like a legitimate
I agree.
sister.
I think what women, I'm sorry, I think some women actually, and I agree with Trigger Mike, because some women want and admire what other women have, but it's because that's what we all want in a way. All women want the same, put us in 10, 12 grade, all of us together, not influence. I'm talking about healthy little girls. We all dream about the same. We want the same at the end of the day. Probably sooner than others. But I think women want what others have, if it's healthy, if it's good, if it looks good to them in a way, but they don't want to put the effort and the patience that is required for them to maintain that. Because, I just want it, I just want it right now. I want the house. I dream about the house, the dog, the little kids, the tree right next to the house, and the man is a shape. It's a gray shape. You're just filling that with, any man can fit in that, little shape right there. That's the way it is.
So you just got like a silhouette with a question mark.
We have a silhouette. That's exactly the word.
I forgot to say this too. I'm sorry, I forgot to say this. Cheeky is the better guy. You see what I'm saying?
Agree with
He's
that.
the better choice.
I agree.
You know
That's
what I'm saying?
saying.
But
You
women
guys-
don't always.
you guys
Women
talk
don't
about-
choose the better.
you
They
guys
don't
talk
want to
about-
have the patience. They don't want to have the patience. We don't even know, like, what are his requirements that he wants to get this until like marriage. Since these women are already influenced and they have experience already, they don't want to wait and put the effort that requires to be with him. So that's why I'm saying, like, in reality, we do want that, but we don't want to put the effort. And I'm including myself as women because, it's not always us. I know how to remove myself from the equation, but I'm saying, generally speaking, women out there are like that. We want to lose weight, but we don't want to go to the gym. We don't want to get into diets. That's, another analogy that I can give.
Well, Cheeky, I do think it's cool. And the reason why is because we were raised to save ourselves for marriage. Like when I say I have a sister, one of my sisters is actually still a virgin and she's waiting for the right guy. She's not giving it up until she's married. Another one of my sisters waited till she got married to her husband. So, like, to me, that's a beautiful thing, and it's rare, and a lot of men just don't possess that quality anymore.
There's
So I
a
think it's
literally
amazing.
0.001% chance you ever gonna find or hear that again. So take her up on that offer, bro.
No, and it's not like they're unattractive. They're beautiful. They're sweet. They're kind. But my dad just upheld the standard, and they kept it. So we were raised a lot like how Amir was raised. Like he was that figure. Guys couldn't just cross over and date us. Like they had to come, knock on the door, talk to him, ask him for permission. He's like, "Don't you ever let somebody like that come to my door ever again." We're like, "Sorry, Dad." Like he was very strict. Everyone knew they could not mess with the Kelly girls because our dad just wouldn't have it. So
I have a question for the men. If they had a virgin woman, if you were about to marry and she was virgin, will you test it? Like, would you like to check before you get married to make sure that it's virgin? How do you know that she's virgin?
How do you test it?
How do you?
No, because back in the days that used to happen. They used to come with a pastor and a doctor, and they used to check if it was intact.
Okay.
Yeah, like
in this particular
If it was
culture,
legit. Yeah, it used to happen. You cannot marry. This happened the night before the marriage. Actually,
Okay, yeah. Oh, I see what
The
you mean.
women have hymens if you're a virgin. So
Yeah.
there
Right,
is
but
a
you
way
can't.
you can check.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
You
what I'm
can't check
saying,
without
but
breaking it. Like there has to be a sheet.
No,
right?
a doctor.
White sheet?
No.
No,
You
so
can check it.
culturally speaking, in America, that ain't going down, and nobody's really doing that. What I have noticed though, because I've had tons of virgins in my family, right? We have the same cultural thing going on. If a girl's gonna state that out, I mean, rarely do girls state that out and can back it up. It's just not something that you can just say and not have. If you have a name about yourself, I mean, come on. In high school, we knew girls that called themselves virgins because they didn't have vaginal sex. Right? But you're not a virgin, right? So there's usually a process to where a dude just decides if he's gonna call BS or not.
Well,
Right.
we have testing too, just like Kelly. I'm sorry. Were you finished, Trigger?
Oh no, I was just gonna say usually a woman who is sexually active in some way, she probably already came to you like, well, we can't do that, but we can do this. No, she's not a virgin. A woman who like virgins have very, I've dated a few. They have very particular cues. They are very sensitive to intimate touch. Like
Right. Like you can't just touch.
you see, so that's why I'm like, you can tell if you're doing your homework and have the sense enough to ask somebody more experienced, hey, how do I know? But yeah, in America, we're not gonna do all that testing and all that. We're gonna take a word for it.
We get tested. Like there are a lot of families when you get married, we get tested as well. Like before marriage, they'll put us through that. And there's a lot of cultures. I think I talked to you about this before, Kelly, that a lot of Islamic cultures will have a sheet, like the most crisp, clean, cornstarch sheet, and the day of the day. The next morning, they will take that sheet that should have, the proof of her virginity being lost on it and fly it around and let the neighbors see it, which is extremely embarrassing. But like I told you guys before, not all women have a hymen and they're virgin. So women can lose you remember, it's just a little piece of skin. It's not bulletproof. It's not like stitched to us and down there. So a lot of women lose their skin, that little skin that says that they're untouched before they have sex. And not every woman bleeds. So I mean, I understand the point of men wanting a virgin because it's your first time having sex, but this little piece of skin it's really nothing. It's just a piece of little flesh. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually,
You can,
the older you get, and if you practice any sports or specific
Yes, yeah, I was
sports,
gonna
That's what I was
it
gonna say.
happens. It happens. No, but the reason why I was asking is because, hypothetically, if I was a virgin and I was looking for a virgin man, right? Because I have the right to ask for it. If I'm a virgin, I can ask for that, and then that man is lying just to get me. I will want to have
Right.
to test him. Like I'm like, how do you test a man virginity? I was just wondering. It's just like
Listen. As men, we have very few double standards that benefit us, and you can't test.
Exactly. Unfortunately.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Well, never mind. I'm not gonna say that. There is a way, but no, I'm not gonna say that.
I think a way, like if a man doesn't know really what he's doing, isn't that kind of a way? Like he's.
Let me tell you, like, if there are dudes who I think, I don't know. I think there's somebody, in some cultures you have to lie about your sexual experience because of the religion. But if you get with a dude and it's supposed to be his first time and he's thrashing you all over the bedroom and it's like 15 minutes in and he hasn't ejaculated, you're like, what's going on here? Dude, you know what you're doing. You've done this before. That first one is something of legend. Like, what's going on? Like, you don't even know what's going on with your hand. Exactly. It's like a volcano erupted. Like, it's embarrassing. You see what I'm saying? Your body has never felt that before. So if you get with someone, a dude is claiming you're a virgin,
And it's pretty quick, right? It's pretty quick.
Yeah. Thrashing you all over the place like a corn star, talk about he a virgin. Yeah, that's cap.
Trigger Mike, and for a guy who's a virgin, the first time is really quick. Like he doesn't go for hours.
Instant. I had to lie. I was like, I don't know what happened.
Not even seconds. That's how quick. Not even seconds.
Quick.
Y'all got some nerve. All of y'all got nerve.
I mean, just dipped in it. I think I tried
I'm
to
just
take
saying, y'all trying to figure out what's going on with violence in America. Is y'all the way y'all talk? Yeah, this is crazy. Y'all know. Trigger Mike, you're not finna just play. Nah, no more Trigger Mike. You good?
But Chicky, do you not find yourself like a target? Like women want to like.
Yes, but that is a very specific type of woman. Like, especially me being in Atlanta, they typically the ones that's really trying to turn you out. Like, they looking for a new opportunity to be a predator. But in most cases, most women really not really. Right? It's a non-factor, especially with today's hookup culture.
I have a question. Are you open about it, like straight up front? Like if you're talking to a woman, do you let them know up front, or is that something
not all
that
the time
comes out later on?
Yeah, no. Most of the time, people don't know. So
okay.
I mean,
I would think that would make you a target. That's not something I would just like, even especially as a woman. I wouldn't be like, by the way, I'm a virgin.
Like most of the girls that I've encountered, they wouldn't know that. That's not a topic of conversation.
And your name is Cheeky, so they probably think you get the cheekies. So
what's so funny is there's two words in my name. That's always crazy how everybody reads the first half, not the second. You know, curves. I see where your mom's at. You dirty person. Anyway, but no, I'm just saying to get back on the topic.
She did say she wanted to turn you out. I'm just saying.
Let's stop taking Cheeky as a topic.
Yes, we did have we had a real question. Go ahead. You wanted to get back on the topic?
I mean, yeah, it was about the religion. I think what we do is imply things with religion, but religion is a faith, not quote unquote principle. So you can believe in something but not adhere to necessary principles. So I think we make that mistake of tying this is my faith to I follow these principles. I think we've got to learn to stop doing that because, as you can see, it's not working well. I think religion does.
Faith without action is not real. You have to. What kind of a Christian are you?
Faith without action is something that we can see today, and that's what I'm saying. I think most people have learned to stop associating religion with a particular action because people aren't following them anymore. At some point in time, maybe like 50 years ago, somebody said they was a Christian. You'd be like, oh, so you do this, that, and the third, right? But in today's time and in 2022, being a Christian literally means anything. Like, I believe in crystals, but I also believe in Jesus Christ. Like, it literally has changed.
Like, that's blasphemy. Yeah.
Right. So what I'm saying
is
everything's been diluted to the point where if you say or use a title, its traditional or maybe former meaning doesn't carry the same weight.
Yeah, That's true. And I have noticed as well that even though it is a foundation, people expect just because if you're a Christian, you're supposed to be perfect and follow it as, oh my God, just by as a book, And we're not perfect in a way. If you have been raised in that way and you follow, you go to church, your family, that, I think it will be different, but you can still have a foundation, because I can say, and I brought it up on the panel the other day, where I have a foundation. Okay. I went to a Christian school all my life. My family is Christian. I do not go to church. So that's why I don't consider myself a religious person, because I don't practice it. But that doesn't mean that I don't have a faith. That doesn't mean that I don't believe in it. That doesn't mean that I'm a bad human being. That doesn't mean that I'm a sinner. And people want to punish you just because you don't do it the way that they think it should be done, because they don't even do it. They think that it should be done that way. That's the problem with religion, that we take it and interpret it the way that we want to. For example, they think that having multiple women is poly, or whatever, like in another culture is taken as having two wives. They think that cheating is the same, or allowing the men to have 2 or 3 women. That's the same as what, in other cultures practice.
They'll make that
But
argument.
it's not the same. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I love when Amira explains specifically what it means to them to have another wife. It's not just the fact that to get the benefits from the other woman, because as a man, you are actually given more, not just one woman. But if you cannot even deal with one, how are you going to deal with 3? And that's the problem, that they want to interpret it the way they want to, and they don't even know what they're talking about. It's just pure ignorance.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And that's what's sad. It's like, and I'm not going to say one religion is, of course, how can I say that? And I think, we all know in our hearts there's a difference between, because we are born sinners, but if you're, you can't just say, well, I'm a sinner, this is what I'm going to do, when you're like blatantly cheating on your husband or whatever. It's like, the difference, and God knows the difference. But it's just sad. I think, the Western culture has just gotten so secular, and then those who are believers, are they though? You know what I mean? And of course, then I have to catch myself and say, well, who are you to judge? Like, you're, and I punish myself because I'm not perfect. But it's like, in my belief, in my opinion, I think things would be much better. We would all be in a much better place as a society if people were more faithful and religious. I will say religious just as an umbrella, but we all know what I'm talking about here. So, yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to ask the next question, unless anybody else had any final thoughts on that topic. Okay, next question. In some cultures, men have more rights than women. This is a country where we have equal rights, but that's not the case in other countries. So my question is, if a man's rights aren't equal, is cheating considered cheating for him?
I mean, for us, we get the same punishment in cheating. So no man has more rights when it comes to the aspect than a woman. So for us, it's not like that at all. So I wouldn't be able to answer that question.
I wanted to answer from now it's a culture perspective. Now it's, not religion anymore. I come from a South Asian background. So that's like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. And over there, even though things are getting better, but it is kind of that traditional gender roles kind of thing where, not here, but in those countries where, the man is kind of, has a higher, regard. And they're the breadwinners and all that kind of thing. So, I mean, if there is a little bit of unfairness, if they were to cheat, generally they don't, because there's a lot of joint families. They live with their parents. There's a lot of, just family involved. But, things are changing, modernizing. And so, yes, if there is, cheating involved, then yes, sometimes they do get, a pass, unfortunately, in the culture, because they're just looked upon so highly. And yeah. unfortunately. So
But isn't that everywhere, Kelly? I mean, what you're saying is everywhere where men are they're not, how can I say, it's expected for them to cheat almost. Like for women, it's like, oh my gosh, but for a woman, for a man, it's expected. So, Kelly, is that really your point? I mean, because that's all around the world, isn't it?
No, I mean, in some countries, women are considered like property. So if you can own a woman, are you really
Oh,
cheating on her? You know what I mean? Like, I don't
oh,
have someone from every culture or country or race or religion to ask this question to, but I know that this does exist.
well,
So
when it comes to property, you're speaking to Middle Eastern, so I think we're probably the most extreme in that. I would say Middle Eastern and African, where women are kind of property, right? And yeah, I guess you're right. Like in that aspect, the men, because they provide the providence, is what is the word? Providence? Provision. They provide the provision for the women and the family. You don't really have, you can't say anything really. You just have to kind of deal with it. Yeah. Is that what you mean, Kelly?
that's what I'm like. Yeah, it's not considered cheating, or would it be? Trigger Mike, I know you're Nigerian,
It's adultery. Yeah. It's still
and
adultery.
Can you restate the scenario, the
I
question?
mean, I know in some countries, I know some African countries, aren't women considered property?
Oh yeah.
So if a man cheats, is that really considered cheating?
No, no. And if we're talking culturally, we got to make a distinction every time we talk about cheating. You have to make a distinction between men and women differently. So, um, yeah, when it comes to cheating, like on your wife, it's usually the provision. Like it doesn't happen the same way where for some reason it's weird in the West how women always want to tell everybody their business when they got cheated on. It's weird, right? Because it's bringing shame, especially if you're married, upon your whole family in a sense. So it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yes, something happened. It can actually be shameful. Keep it in the house. Now, if you do tell someone, and the people that do know, you can go talk to his mother. You can talk to his father. That will get his attention really quick. Because if he's taking his provision outside of the home, all of a sudden, his contribution inside of your house is lacking, the mortgage is late, children aren't properly fed, they're gonna whip his ass in my culture. Like they're gonna get with him. That is what's considered, I would say, the equivalent of cheating, to where it's gonna raise eyebrows and reflect negatively upon the man. Men seeking sex from other women is standard. Like it's standard. The part where it causes alarm is when your provision is taken out of that house to take care of this Jezebel or this woman. And and they do practice Islam in Nigeria as well. If you are going to get another woman, you actually have to, in most times, marry her. If you're gonna deflower her like that, you have to marry her and provide her housing. That's too much. That's some very costly vagina. I'll pass.
I have a quick question. I'm curious. Like if women,
She'll be back.
I guess she'll be back after this commercial break. I do have a super chat. I'll read that while she's doing whatever she's doing. It was from Sherwin Thomas, $5. Single before married sounds good. However, if we're to adopt this in the West without a proper structure, women may become more promiscuous. That was our only super chat.
okay,
Thank
I'm
you,
sorry,
Sherwin
guys.
Thomas.
I had
No,
to
go
answer
ahead.
a question really quick.
All right, we're back from the commercial break.
For the women who like are in a culture where it's okay to have multiple wives or to cheat or whatever you want to call it, do they get jealous, or do they just like of men, their man being with another woman, or do they just understand that that's a part of the role? Like, is there jealousy? Like, because you do it here, even like in poly relationships, like I hear about women being jealous and getting upset, and who likes who more, and like, is that a thing over there, or do you just understand?
I think that's like the Mormonism. Like when you see the people. So remember, when it's done in religious ways, you're supposed to house them separately for that reason. That is one of the biggest reasons you house them separately, so they don't have to go through that. So when you look at these shows where the guys are in poly relationships, that is naturally going to become, you know how some people say women are like children? That is the arena where you make them children because you're choosing to give one a benefit over the other. Like, how are you going to feel if you're the wife in the biggest, if you're a wife in the main suite versus the wife in the basement and it's cold down there? So yeah, that definitely can become very divisive real quick.
Now, are
Well,
you
to answer
paying
Curve's
for
question,
things? Are you taking care of both households? If that's the setup as well?
Yeah, you got to have the
typically,
means to do so. If you're going to do
Okay.
that, yeah, you have to have the means to do so.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
So there
Curves,
are
there's
some
always going to be
countries.
jealousy. There's always going to be jealousy. Sorry, Saida. There's always going to be jealousy, but like what Trigger was saying, the women in that situation, in our religion, you cannot have more than one wife if you cannot provide for them equally. You cannot do it. And it's always said in our religion as well, yes, you can have up to 4, but one is best for you if you only knew. Go ahead, Saida. Sorry.
I just wanted to say that there are some countries where cheating or adultery has been decriminalized in Paraguay, Chile, Argentina, Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, Brazil, and Haiti, and China. But it's still a ground for divorce. So it's not a crime, but it's a ground for divorce. And that's what a lot of people don't understand. Something that happens. They mention, what is the most common reason of divorce in the U.S.? What's the name of it?
Irreconcilable differences.
Irreconcilable. Yeah.
Yes. So a lot of people don't know this, but the reason why they choose that option is because it's cheaper. And then if someone is cheating, because there's multiple reasons, there's a bunch of reasons of why you can get divorced, but they choose that reason. Is commonly agreed between both parties. The reason why is because number one is cheaper, and then another reason is because if someone has cheated, it has to go through an entire investigation. It takes longer. They have to pay more money. So at the end of the day, it's like, you know what, we just put it as irreconcilable reasons. And a lot of people just complain about the term, but they don't know why they use the term. But I wanted to say that cheating is a number one reason of divorce, but it's not known as because it goes under this other term that people put it in because it's cheaper.
I have a question. What is adultery?
Cheating.
And I know what it is, but yeah, what is it in context to what we're talking about? Because I think people have a very different. Because in my understanding of adultery, you can't
When you have to
commit
be
it.
married, right?
Not
The other
only do you
person-
have to be married, a man committing adultery, it's only adultery if you sleep with a married woman.
No,
And that's
it's
what I was
adultery
saying.
when
Like,
you are sleeping with someone that is not your wife or husband. If you're having sex with a person outside of marriage, that's adultery.
Okay. Yeah, in my understanding, it's only, you can do that, but adultery is when you're sleeping with a married
with another
woman.
man's, all right.
Yeah, another man's wife. Yep.
That's adultery in a biblical context. It's adultery in like maybe an ancient, antiquated context, but that is what it is.
Yeah,
That was
a married man is sleeping with a prostitute. He's not committing adultery.
He's not committing
But
adultery.
well, unless the prostitute is married.
Wait, so then it's one-sided, right? So then, like, for example, in like, let's say we're talking about like Sharia law, for example, that person wouldn't be in trouble, right? The person that's not married.
No, in Islam, it's a married man with an unmarried woman, or a married woman with an unmarried man. So it is both ways. So yeah.
Right. That's interesting.
Do they call it adultery in Islam as well?
They call it adultery.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so
Yes,
it's different. Understand? That's why I said, what is everyone?
Coming on, Amira.
Yeah, what is
Thank you.
everyone's? Bye, Amira.
Yeah.
Understanding, because I've even heard, and I'm being 100% serious, I've heard the term or the phrase, men cannot commit adultery. That's why I wanted to understand what everybody's context was about it.
Interesting. I've never heard that. I just thought if you were married and you were stepping outside of your marriage, you were committing adultery.
That's how most people interpret it. But when Trigger Mike said, "What does it mean?" I knew where he was going, because you would have Israel have that issue in parts of Rome. They would have that issue because they wouldn't know who was who and who's married or not. And so this idea of being sexually unfaithful is or sexually uncommitted is not new. What is new, however, is women being so vocal about it and having the options to leave if they want to. I think things like, for example, there's this whole thing. Gabrielle Union felt comfortable cheating in her first marriage. Why? Because she had the resources. So the more and more I'm starting to realize about this cheating thing is, from women, it's more of a, they didn't have the resources to do it. Now that they're gaining them through, opportunities and whatnot, they're starting to understand why men could do it. So maybe they were just envious of men the entire time. Yeah, no, it's been crazy. But yeah, it's most of the time sexual commitment or being in that way only came from those who had the resources. And if you didn't have the resources, then you just kind of had to stick with whoever you had. What else you gonna do?
So you're saying broke men don't cheat?
I'm saying broke. I'm saying broke men. I'm saying broke men do cheat, but they cheat because they can, right? Like anybody can cheat. But what I'm starting to see is women have this issue or have had this issue. It's morally wrong to cheat. And then come to find out that somebody like Gabrielle Union, who's known to be successful, who has the resources, doesn't necessarily need a man for his resources, clearly states, in my first marriage, I felt comfortable cheating because I got the money for it. Why not?
Yeah, I think Cheeky. So to add to that, I think it's some more onto it. It's that money, and like you stated, makes them just behave more masculine. So it's believing that men and women can do things equally and suffer and are like on equal footing to do things in a relationship, right? But we talked about this yesterday on King Talk, and it's like when a man cheats, he's dominating. When a woman cheats, she's getting dominated by another dude. It's not equal. It's not equal. Mr. Let Go said it perfectly. He said, a woman is the only creature on the earth that when you're mad at someone, correct me if I'm wrong, whoever watched the show last night, you do something to hurt yourself. And you hurt yourself to hurt the man. When a man gets upset or, wants to, he goes to hurt someone else's feelings, take another woman's body. That's how he gets his release. A woman goes hurt herself to hurt him. Right. So with putting miles on yourself in a relationship, in something that's not your relationship, allowing another man to dominate you, to put his life energy inside of you, to have those type of ties to him. Yes, your man will be pissed, but you're ultimately also hurting yourself. So it makes no sense.
How is the man not hurting himself as well?
So it's about, so let me say this carefully. Women keep saying
Great question.
Yeah, men, our value is in our provision. Your value as a woman is your ability, your beauty, fertility, and your youth. Women, without men, women project that onto each other, right? That's how you get a man. That's what makes you valuable in society. Ours is our provision and our ability to provide and go out and work and all of that, right? So it's not necessarily, yes, our seed is valuable and we can carelessly give that away, but it's not what makes us. Us senselessly having sex with no consequence, like I said, women, even it makes us more valuable to women. Oh, I want him.
Like, but men can still contract an STD. They can still create a soul tie with another human being. Yeah. They can still create drama.
Yeah, but those are consequences of their behavior.
But I'm saying, how is that not him? Like, what did you say? A woman goes and harms herself. How is he not harming himself? It's the same effect, whether it's on a man or woman.
I'll put it this way. He's not harming his value. A man can go and sleep with 300 women because he's upset at his mom who left him. And he just wants to sleep with women that look like her and punish them. And number 301, when he gets down on his knee to ask her to marry him, will say, yes, I'll be your wife. He's so experienced. He's the best I've ever had in bed, whatever. She'll say yes. A woman cannot sleep with 300 men and go out here and say, I want a respectable man.
So I'm always the guy that's on the opposite end of this conversation. I'm always the one that's like, none of that makes sense to me. because what's so interesting is the stats will actually show us that men are also affected by the amount of sexual partners that they have.
Thank you.
Oh, that's true.
It'll show
But
that
it takes
men and women,
way longer.
regardless of whether or not it takes way longer, the impact is still there. Now, me personally, I'm a risk mitigator. So if I know that the impact of me having more and more sex is going to ruin the chances of something that I want to do as a long-term goal, I won't do it. So if I know I want to be married, whether I'm a man or a woman, the idea of having sexual partners, or multitude of sexual partners, just doesn't add up, right? From a statistical standpoint, and from the way that I see women interact and men interact, because we're going to act like men don't get stuck to the punani. All right, we're going to cap then. If we're going to do that, some dudes get in there and they just stuck there because it's just, I love her. You simp. You shouldn't have put your... Anyway, that's a different story. The other thing about this is we tend to use cultures that only benefit us. Whenever we start talking about these multiple partners thing, me personally, I know that there's cultures where women can have multiple husbands, but if a woman start using that, we're gonna be like, oh no, that's wrong. No. You can't pick and pull from other cultures. Now they're here to.
I don't think there is a culture that women can have multiple husbands.
Oh, you're wrong.
Where in the world?
Never Nigeria, India.
Never heard of it.
I actually did a video on that. And what I'm saying
it's
is
extremely rare.
But you know, it's also rare. Men with multiple wives. You do realize these places with polygamy, all of them don't marry more than one wife. The percentage of that is actually below one. Yeah. So even though it's acceptable and it's within the guidelines, most people don't practice it. So how then can we say because it's rare for a woman to have more than one husband, we can't allow that? But now that men typically don't have more than one wives, I'm just saying.
But it's ignorance. That's why I told you it's ignorance. But the reason why I'm saying you are saying it right now, but I need to talk to someone from this culture now to make sure, because that's how you get to know that it's true. Okay. I don't like other people from other cultures to tell me things. I really like to get straight to the point, to the sources, and you know, because I don't base myself or based on someone else's talking points. I never do that. I further research things, and I'm like, I've never heard of that, so I'm like, wow, I'm curious now.
Syed, I'm gonna find one. I'm gonna bring him on the panel.
I'll try to get one too.
I'm gonna find a lady that has multiple husbands.
No, legally, not like, you know, because I don't know if Chicky, that's what I wanted to know, like a culture of some women now saying that they can have this. That's not a culture, you know, that's just
there's legitimate cultures though that allow
I remember
I played the video. I don't know if Coach was there when I played it, but
I maybe have seen it. Maybe. And I remember someone had a video, it was probably over a year ago, with a woman with like well, I don't know if legally they were her husbands, but it was like 3 guys. No, I think there were 2 women. So never mind. I don't even know then. But yeah, I do remember that, Cheeky, because that sounded familiar.
Well, I do have another question. I kind of want to get to it because I know a few people have to go soon. Fourth question. This is a 2-parter. The first part of the question is, at what point does forgiveness play a factor? So if you do have a cheating spouse, do you forgive them? And at what point do you do it at the beginning? If you've been together a certain amount of time, like, when is forgiveness? When does that play a role?
What's the question? Can you repeat the question again?
Sorry. At what point do you forgive a cheating spouse? Does that play a role, or is it once you cheat, that's it for me? Or do you give him a second chance or her a second chance if you've just started a relationship versus you've been into it for 10 years?
So
I have 2 scenarios because I have to go. Can I go first?
Go ahead. Yeah, I know you have to get to another.
So the first one is like, is he my husband?
He's your husband. Is your husband.
Okay. Right. Because number one, if he's not my husband, I wouldn't do that again. I did it one time and I wouldn't, you know, just, I'll forgive you, but I'll move on with my life. You know, like, he's not my husband. I don't have to stay. Now, if he's my husband, obviously I will have to find out why it happened. You know, did I do something wrong? Because, you know, something's wrong. Obviously, I don't want to take the blame, but I am thinking that, you know, we both have to work. Is he willing to work to preserve our marriage? Because that's my job, to preserve the marriage. So, and then if I decide to go on the route of forgiveness, then I have to understand what forgiveness is. And I'm not going to be throwing that thing on his face every time we argue about something. But you cheated on me. No, you know, if I'm actually going to forgive, it's going to come from my heart. And it has to be clear that he's going to give me time, because that my trust is broken. You know, the trust is broken. So it has to be built up again, and it will require time. So it requires work from both parties. It requires willingness, and you know, yeah, it will require therapy and all that. So yeah, that's the way I will go. But I have to go. Thank you for having me. I learned something today, Chiki. I will go further research on that. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you for coming, Saida.
I really like that she said about like if she forgives, like she's not gonna bring it up. And you know, because I think that's the mistake a lot of women make. Like if they do decide to forgive their cheating husband, boyfriend, whatever, they tend to bring it up and like throw it in his face. And it's like, if you choose to forgive him and stay, then let it go. Like it doesn't need to be something that's brought up every single time. But I just like that she said that. I just want to say that right quick.
You know, I'll answer this in a weird way. Y'all do realize there are studies that say that women cheat more than men do.
This is
And
not
that-
a man or a woman thing.
No. I know.
Yeah.
I'm doing this to context my argument.
Oh, okay.
So that means that in marriages, men get cheated on and stay. So, you know, you got to think about that. They get cheated on and stay. And that goes into what I said before, where it was like, if you keep your business in-house, because that to me is kind of crazy, because it's like, well, do men cheat more than women? No, it says women have access to cheat more than men, and many studies say that they do. So that means married men are getting cheated on and stay. And I started thinking about the reasons for that. Men are logical, or you know, supposed to be practicing practicality and logic. So if you have children, that'll probably prompt a man to say, I'm not going to ruin their life over this woman and her indiscretions. So forgiveness probably has to be necessary if you're being logical. I'm not saying the relationship is going to look the same that it did before, because I'm going to be honest, I have no idea how a man is supposed to get over that. I don't know.
He gonna get his lick back. What you mean?
Naturally, but still, another man dominated his woman. So he can get 20 licks back. That's going to be burning a hole in his head.
Would it be better if she dominated him? Would that make him feel better? Like tied him up and made.
They
like,
both gotta die.
If she flipped him over like a pancake.
Yeah, now he's no longer a man. So I don't know what y'all talk about. Like,
I can't believe she was a lesbian this whole time.
Yeah, you get rough with me. I don't like that. Put that away.
Chick, you're in the wrong era, I swear.
I know, he belongs in the 1950s.
Yeah, or the medieval time or something. I don't even know.
Chicky, what's your favorite movie?
You're
gonna say The Notebook or like Romeo and Juliet?
What? What? Oh my God!
So because he's a virgin, you got to be a hopeless romantic now too.
Yes, he's romantic. I think so.
Who?
No, he doesn't believe in love. He does not believe in love. But I'm not going to go there.
You couldn't be further from the truth.
He could be a virgin because he flat out doesn't trust women. He could be a virgin because he hates women. Did you ever?
Or it's not worth it. Rather.
Yeah. Oh my God! It's the argument has been. Look, man, people, we've gone 2 days of people questioning whether or not look, you people who believe in love, y'all got it, right? Y'all make all the bad decisions and I watch. That's all I do.
We don't have to open that can of worms, okay?
So you don't believe in love?
Oh,
let me not say. So I believe in love, right? And this idea that there's an experience that happens in your frontal cortex in the back, your brain lights up. I think that exist, but it sounds terrible. It sounds like something crack addicts, look. You sound like
I would love to have a conversation about it.
Okay. Well, when you free, we can have a convo.
I know. I'll message you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, what's your favorite movie though? Honestly,
I don't.
He doesn't watch movies either.
It used to be Talladega Nights.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
It's a good one. That is a good one.
I just,
I
it
was
used to
busting out
be that.
laughing in the theater. I think I was one of the only 2 people.
Oh,
Sounds like that had me dying. So that used to be my favorite movie for a while. But
I
movies are
own that
good.
movie on DVD. Sorry, my bad.
No, you good.
I noticed I referenced it earlier when I was like, I don't know what to do with my hands. That's my favorite part of that movie.
No.
Okay, so you're not a romantic. Okay, I guess.
Let me. So I'm not going to say I'm not a romantic. I just don't define it as that. So if I have a woman, for example, my ex, if she told you what I did for her, you'd probably be like, "Oh, that guy's great," and then you would talk to me and be like, "How is this the same person?" Because I wouldn't identify it as that, right? I think people are so infatuated with this idea of love and romanticize it so much that you place this blind faith into it. I don't do the label thing. So I don't care about love. If you respect me, show me loyalty, do these other things, that's what I want. Now, if you say that's what love is all wrapped up, then so sure, then I believe in it and so be it. But people's definition changes like the wind, and I'm so tired of it. I can't define that. It's 13 definitions in the dictionary for love. You know how many there is for respect? 4. I can deal with that.
Yeah, but I think men view respect as love.
I view it as obedience. Just do what I tell you to do.
Hey, and I prefer respect to love.
That's facts. So I feel like this episode turned into a cheeky banter episode. So let's forget about cheating and talk about, being faithful and saving it for the one that you love. Respect. So how do you know? So how do you know when it's finally going to happen? You're going to wait till marriage, or is it going to be this woman that lights up that part of your brain?
It's gonna be the one that fits the vetting process. If she make it through that, she get married. If she don't, she getting kicked to the curb and gotta go find somebody else.
Respect that. Hi, Bruiser. Welcome. Whoa, you're not Bruiser anymore.
Why does bald guy keep showing up on the panel all late?
I was trying to figure out where he came from and who allowed him in.
You're not Bruiser anymore. Who are you now? Introduce
I guess we weren't triggering the women enough, and we just needed to kick things up a notch.
Precise.
The right
Precise.
on.
That's the new name. I'm changing it. I had to change it.
So from Bruiser to Precise, and you have a show called The Groomsman.
Yeah, I'm gonna give my bruiser name. I'm gonna give it to my son.
Okay. We usually have everyone introduce themselves in the beginning. So if you want to introduce yourself for those of people, those of us who don't know you.
Oh, for those that don't know me. All right, so my name is Precise. I help men optimize themselves for marriage. I've been married for almost a decade, and I have a proven system that I always use, and I just became more like a scientist about it. So anybody who needs some advice and needs some help, send them my way.
Quite a few panels, quite a few shows. You should float around the YouTube space because there are plenty of Dusties that need it. I've been hanging out with Scam Likely too much. Dusties. I was on a show with Scam last night, so we've been saying Dust like a million times, but yeah. A lot of people need you, Bruiser, that's for sure. A lot of men need you, rather.
So do you have
been married for a decade? That's what's up.
Almost, not quite, almost.
Almost, but I don't know why in my head you was like a newlywed. I never asked, but I don't know why, but that's cool.
Yeah, so I guess you could. I don't know, man. I kind of feel like I am still a newlywed. I think once you get over 10 years, then you could say you actually married, because from my experience, I think it takes about maybe 5 to 10 years to actually really get to know somebody. With all the distractions and social media, and people can just change their character. You know what I'm saying? It's just, you really gotta spend some time with somebody to actually know them, and it takes a long time. People withhold who they are. People have these traumatic experiences. They don't really release that until they actually get help, and you gotta actually learn these things. And a lot of people not open to allowing you to get past that wall. So it really takes some breaking down, and you just got to be receptive, man. So
we were talking about Forgiveness of a cheating spouse. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, forgiveness of a cheating spouse. That's a really good topic. A lot of people kind of run away from it because uh, I think you should forgive if you had any participation in the cause of it. It could have been you walking your woman into the flames and walking away like um so to speak. Let me see if I can think of an example. So like if I'm married, I'm in a relationship with a woman and I'm not giving her any time. You know what I'm saying? I changed suddenly. I'm not giving her the time that I was giving her or that I gave her the intention that was going to be there. And the love and affection started decreasing. I recognize that I'm not going to do anything about it. Sometimes it affects loyalty. If you don't communicate these things, you know what I'm saying, it can cause issues in your relationship. It cause your woman to stray away. You got to be able to, you can't just think that, I mean, I know that a lot of guys think they get in a relationship and they got a woman that's submissive, that she's just going to bend no matter what. You still got to do the necessary things to fulfill that woman's, I think they call it 5 love languages or some shit. You got to recognize these things in a woman so that she can stay loyal and secure. You know what I'm saying? You got to hold her down just like you wanted her to hold you down. And women do that too, vice versa. Women not getting the man sex. A lot of women, they get in a relationship they want to withhold sex because they may be mad or they got an attitude. Yeah, but then this guy is in a relationship with you and committed with you, and you want him to be monogamous, knowing his nature. So you're gonna go ahead and do that, and then now he's got a side chick. So I feel like a woman. I feel like a woman who recognizes that should forgive him. Like, hey, look, I pretty much sent this dude out to the wolves. You know what I'm saying?
That I agree with that. I was going to say we didn't talk about that aspect, but that is the context. If you step out because of a situation like that, I don't think you're wrong. I think again, which is so I got some controversial takes. I'm not doing vows either.
If I were to I did want to give Fatima a chance to answer because I don't think she had a chance. No, but go ahead.
Yeah, and I have to leave after this. So, what I would say is, from an Islamic perspective, like if you're married, divorce is, like kind of the last option. It's not like no option. It is an option, but it's just, try everything before you get divorced. What I would say is it depends, right? I agree with Precise that, you have to, forgiveness is a big thing. Well, two factors that you want to consider is one, the severity of the cheating, right? Was it physical? Was it not? Things like that. So the second is, as a human, the cheater, how as a spouse, how were they, right? Were they abusive? Were they toxic? Were they, just not a good person? Were they not uplifting you? Were they not making you a better person? And then they cheated on top of that. That's your sign. Like, it's got to, end. But then if they were always like, there as a 50-50 partner, they were always uplifting you, positive, and, supportive, then, that's grounds for, trying to, rework things. And, so yeah, it's not like just end all.
It's like they were a good person, but they had a slip up. They made a mistake, or they're just a total asshole and they cheated too.
That's your sign to be like, bye.
When you work out, when you're like, no, I'm chalking the deuce on you.
Okay, so I'm hearing another part of it. So y'all said work things out. So when y'all say forgiveness, do y'all mean like and work it out after the cheating? Because from my understanding, yeah, I can forgive a woman for cheating, but working it out after that is a whole nother conversation.
So you would forgive her and still divorce her? I forgive you. God bless
you. Because I'm a firm believer that I have to understand what happened. I understand what caused this woman to stray. If I want to go and have another relationship, because if I get into another relationship with a woman, these things can repeat. So there need to be some type of forgiveness and understanding. So whenever I get into the next relationship, I'll know not to treat a woman like this to where she'll stray away. You know what I'm saying? But as far as retention after that, ooh, that's gonna be tough because from my understanding, women cheat differently than men. When women go in and allow another man to come into them, they taking a risk of allowing him to imprint her too. A woman can't imprint a man. You get what I'm saying?
She's not doing
She
it
can
right
take
now.
his imprint, but she can't imprint him. So that's the difference. So it's gonna be that situation is gonna be really, really I don't know, man.
You're right. I mean, women are different. They're a little more emotional. So if they're ever, going into a relationship with someone, even if it's just, physical or anything, they do have that emotional aspect a little bit more. But I mean, and I understand trust is a huge thing in a relationship. So I mean, when that's broken, it's really hard. But I feel like, if it's a one-time thing and, communication, therapy, a lot of things. I mean, I think it could be revived. I'm just saying all this hypothetical, but
The therapy would definitely need to happen.
right.
Because that would be.
Yeah, and I think both parties. So this whole term of cheating, we got to get it in
Fatima,
proper
I know you had to
context.
go, so I don't want to hold you.
Yeah.
I know you had.
Oh.
Bye. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on.
See you,
All right,
Fatima.
And I think the common denominator in people being upset about it is the deception, right? So men got to come up front, straight up, and just let the woman know. I've noticed a lot of the time where, like Bruiser said, or someone said it, the woman's not holding up her end of the bargain, right? Because as I said, women talk about the cheating experience. He cheated, they feel so shamed and everything. I've actually seen it to where someone I know told her mother, her aunt, her grandmother, and they cursed the dude's name until she was like, I know we didn't have sex in 3 months, but, and all of those women were like, excuse me, right? Like, what part of the game is that? You didn't, what did you expect? Right. So, if you're going to do it, and you got to let the woman know straight up. If you take that deception part of it out, then you'll realize that women can be territorial, but it's really that part that takes the choice away from them. Because you were going around, sneaking around, because you were being deceptive, now trust is lost. But I think to your core, women understands a man's nature. So if you make it known to her, like, hey, this is becoming really hard for me, hopefully she'll make the necessary changes so you don't have to step out.
So do you think a man should state in the beginning, if you do not have sex with me, I'm going to get sex somewhere?
100%, absolutely. That is, it was told to me by one of my older frat brothers when I was very young. And I don't know how we got on the topic, but he said, stop lying to women. And he's like, they will mess with you anyway. State your business clearly. This is what I like. This is what I want to do. I will be in a relationship with you. If we get married, my provision will belong to you. My children, only you will have. But this is the way it's going to go down. I promise you at least 50% of women will be like, okay. Because you told them up front. Mm-hmm. As soon as you take away the choice, that's when, you get this response we have in modern day.
I agree with that. I remember my father used to always say that men need sex like they need food. He said, so they eat 3 times a day. If you stop cooking, they still have to get food. Where are they going to go? For takeout. He said, same thing with sex. They have to have it. So if you deprive them, they got to eat sexually.
Like, it's just a principle. It's just a principle. I think personally, right? I'm on that boat. I'm definitely on the boat of if I'm married and I'm not getting any sex, I'm definitely cheating. It won't be cheating because I'll tell that person, but I'm definitely going somewhere else for it. Especially considering my situation. I'm not going to wait this long for you to tell me no. It's not happening. I'm sorry. Considering the fact that unfortunately, if I get married in the West, I'm not marrying a virgin. If I get married to another culture, they already seem to understand this idea that men have a sexual appetite that exceeds more than one woman. So it don't seem like they don't understand that. Their requirements of me will maybe even less. It's like there is no reason why I should be hearing no. Because if what y'all were saying was true, right? This idea, oh man, it's so admirable. Look, I'm not trying to hear my stomach hurt when your stomach don't hurt. I'm not trying to hear I'm tired if you're not tired. I'm not trying to hear nothing. If that's what you're saying, and you're saying it's such a great deed, and you don't behave or act in that way, fine. Let me go find somebody who, I'm not a virgin no more. Now I can go attract some other women.
Yeah, but some women will weaponize sex and use it to like they'll withhold it so they can get what they want or because they're angry instead of being like, this is you don't not cook when you're mad, like you still have to give your husband what he needs. I remember my godmother would say, I don't know why women always say no. She said, it's something that doesn't take that much time and it makes them so happy.
Yeah, but that version of woman is gone. So what we really need, the elephant in the room, is that most modern women aren't meant to be wives because it's not any like smoke to them. It's that they weren't taught properly how to prioritize a man's needs. How can you be married and just on a day-to-day basis consciously deprioritize your man's needs? That is an absolute recipe for failure. Every time somebody asks why the divorce rate is so high, because I say half the people that are married didn't know how to be.
Which is so sad because men are super simple. They really only need 5 things.
Yeah.
To be happy.
That's simple. Like, I don't see marriages that are, the happiest people in marriage, and they don't do this stat much. I think I've seen it like once, but married people that come from married homes, their divorce rate is low. Way lower than everyone else. But women that come from these cultures that, yes, I have to prioritize my man's needs. Look, and it has nothing to do with them working. That's the worst part about it. I feel like in Western culture, you substitute things or put things in a way where like, I would do that if I didn't have to work 11 hours a day. No, the women who do this thing correctly, listen, I'm just telling you, my wife was like, I get home late now. So guess what? We're morning people now. My office is 5 minutes away. We're lunch break people now. You see what I'm saying? So it's like she found a way to be like, this is still what my man
get your
wants.
lunch and dessert.
Exactly. So it's like, listen, I'm gonna make this work because it's my job, it's my duty to please him in this way, or he's gonna step out, as he said. So if women learn to prioritize their man like that, the same way they do their job, same way they do their career, this divorce rate would be exponentially lower than it is now.
I got a question for the ladies. Oh man, I ain't mean to cut you off. Coach,
Sorry.
go ahead.
No, you're good.
No, I was gonna ask. I was gonna say, what besides attitude and medical reasons could cause a woman to want to go get some pipe from somewhere else?
What besides an attitude or medical?
When I say attitude, okay, you upset with the dude. You know what I'm saying? You're not in the mood anymore. He still wants it, but you hold it back. You withhold it because you're not, your juice isn't flowing. You're not you're completely turned off because of an argument or issue y'all had. I know sometimes y'all do that. Y'all don't want to have sex when you angry and the person becomes unattractive because of the mood is it's thrown off. What besides that, and I know you have medical issues, maybe I don't want to say menopause, that's later in the issue, later on. But you getting cramps or something like that.
There's no reason for it, in my opinion. But
there's no reason. Those are reason, period, or there's no reason beside those two reasons.
You're talking about for a woman to go ahead, Kelly.
A woman to say, "Hey, babe, I don't feel like having sex right now."
Oh, okay.
You might be tired, exhausted.
I thought you
I didn't understand your question.
It's okay. I put those in the medical category, but the other part is.
I'm saying other than being on your period, I don't believe that there's a reason to say no.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
I would say like medical, or sometimes, well,
because I believe it's unclean as far as like biblical standpoints. I don't think you should. It's because it's a time where your body's like.
Is that because of a principle that you believe in, or
stomach
I'm
ache,
talking about how you feel though? Like let's say you still have sex because of the principle and your ideology and your religion and what you believe. You still have sex even though you don't want to. I'm saying the part that you don't, the essence that you don't want to, but still do it. Like, what is the essence behind that? That look, I don't want to have sex because of these things right here.
Okay,
like,
so what I would say,
Maybe I'm not understanding the question.
I'm imagining so besides her not feeling good or some type of physical like reason that is legitimate that I think even her husband would be okay with, a reason that she might not want to, you're saying, like what would that reason be if she doesn't want to that she might have? I would say perhaps like see, I don't know cuz she might,
Could it
but
be
you're saying
sex?
she still does it though?
Yeah,
Like
could
she
it be
still has
sex? Could
sex?
it be sex appeal? I'm just giving y'all a
Um
hint.
Could be what?
maybe.
I mean,
Like she's not attracted to him?
he's becoming less attractive, maybe.
Sex appeal. Gotcha.
I
That could be
mean,
it, but I would
I don't
say
know.
in
I think when
that
a woman loves a
situation,
man, like like he could turn into that little potato shape that every man turns into when they turn, they get balls, they
yeah.
got the little belly.
Did you guys see the potato drop in Idaho? I can't.
I
So
think
On New
every
Year's
man
Eve, they
turns
dropped a
into
potato.
a
Look it
potato.
up.
But
so y'all
it's
so
Look
y'all
it
are
up.
different in that part where a man uh I'm not going to advocate for it, but I could say that a lot of men who have a woman and they let themselves go, they gain all this weight, you know what I'm saying? They don't take care of themselves. They just eating
The
whatever the
woman or
fuck
the
they want.
man?
What I'm saying, when the man recognizes his
Okay.
his sex drive is still at that level, but the sex appeal that he has in her, or the sexual attraction that get him turned on, he's no longer getting a boner because she don't look the same. I'm
I
saying,
think
does that
women
happen
are
with y'all?
different. I
Okay.
think women are different because I think once a woman loves a man, she still sees him as that man that she married. Like I've asked my mother,
I
my
mean, we
godmother.
still love you, but like we don't want to fuck you as much because you don't
It's
really like
different
look
because men
good
are turned
anymore.
on by sight. Women are turned on by touch. They're turned on by emotion.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not the
not like
same thing. You
spontaneous.
want to
It's
see
like
that,
in the
that little
action.
that what corn the corn star. You want to see that in the bedroom.
So you're saying, so you're trying to convince
Right,
me there's
right. The
no
chords.
such thing as
Yeah.
handsome privilege. Basically, y'all saying there's no such thing as handsome privilege.
Oh
I
no,
think
there is, but I think that's when you meet them. It doesn't always stay that way. Stuff starts to fall and drop, and hair leaves. He could be
I think in a
like a
healthy
top model
relationship.
when you marry him,
If
but
your if
he
your
starts
husband,
losing his
if your husband
hair,
or your man
his
grows to be
chest goes down
350
to his
pounds, you telling
belly.
me you can still have sex with him
See,
at the
See,
why are
but
you
same
being that
No, see,
extreme? That
no,
350
but
pounds,
Bruiser,
dog.
that's too much.
hold on,
I
hold on.
tried not to
I
go
would
there, but I
say,
have to go
When
there.
he gets the little
okay,
beer
I would say
belly,
though that already though that's going to be a conversation because at least in my marriage, because and him and I have had these conversations. We actually found each other on Instagram because of fitness. It's he's listening. And it's kind of like our sport, but also for just overall health. Like, hey, like, for our children or whatever, like I don't want my spouse to be unhealthy. So I feel like there's going to be conversations even before that. So this probably isn't a good answer that you're looking for, but I would say that is going to be a factor, but I wouldn't just deny him because I have the view that I want to do that for him because I love him. And if that's what he needs, which I know it is, then I'm going to do it, you know?
I agree with that.
So
Hopefully,
basically,
I don't know
y'all
if that's
going
a
on the
good answer,
record to
but
say that all women who are out here cheating has no reason at all to cheat.
yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
You were asking like what reason? Because I don't think for women it's necessarily physical. I think it's gonna be the way he treats her, the way he talks to her. If he ignores her, if he doesn't give her what she feels like she needs emotionally, she's gonna seek that out from someone else. And maybe she's not looking for sex from another person. Maybe he doesn't talk to her or listen to her, and this other guy gives her his ear, and she's talking, and then it's like,
So
oh, he's
so
listening
when
to me,
y'all
and then it could turn into something else, but that may not necessarily be what she was looking for.
so when y'all express loyalty, y'all
Hmm.
express it on a conditional level of what you
No,
receive from him.
I
And if
don't.
you're not
No,
receiving
you
that,
were
then
asking why women cheat. I don't necessarily think it's because, oh, my husband got fat. Ew. I think it's what she feels like she's not getting from him.
so it stands. If he's not consistent in what he's doing for you, as far as catering to your feelings and your emotions and not communicating when you're not ignoring you, then that is grounds for disloyalty from a woman. That's where you're standing at.
Oh no, I'm gonna let him know. I'm gonna tell him what I need. But a lot of women won't. They'll just be like, he's not talking to me. He's not listening. They'll just like let it
Like
fester.
he should read my mind.
Right. And they'll just push
Silly.
it down. I'm like, listen, I want to go out. I don't want to sit in the house. Let's go out. I feel like I need to get out. Let's go on a date. Let's do something together. I would like to go out, please. I'm going to tell you what I want. If you still don't do it, if you don't care, then that's a different conversation. But I think a lot of people, not just women, they generally don't express what's bothering them. They'll hold it inside. They'll suppress it. They'll let it fester. They'll get angry about it. And they'll be like, oh, why doesn't he know that I'm bothered?
Hey,
Just tell him.
I think one of my cousins told me something very profound. Like when a woman decides to cheat, it's usually nothing a man can do about it, because it's a woman usually wreaking the repercussions of what she asked for. If a woman asks you that she wants a bigger house because y'all have more kids and she wants 2 guest rooms and a bigger kitchen, now you got to spend more hours at work, or you're a truck driver and got to drive more routes to pay for that house. What's the consequences of doing all that? You have less time. You have less time. So this when he said that, it took me years to understand what he was saying. Now you have less time. This is where that pool boy thing comes from. How did a woman end up screwing the pool boy? This little dude, like, you see what I'm saying? It's because her husband is at work doing what the hell he's supposed to do. So when women say he doesn't have time for me anymore, well, men who make a lot of money traditionally don't have time. You see what I'm saying? So women's number one aphrodisiac we know is attention. If she's not getting it from her husband, so usually when people say my husband isn't giving me an attention, we go to the worst case scenario, as if he's actively giving her the Heisman when he comes in the house. That's usually not what's happening.
He's tired.
He's physically not there because he's tired, working on behalf of the family to provide the things she asked for. Right? I told y'all have heard me tell the story about me going home after the club with a woman, waking up in her house, and the sun came in and her husband's pictures were on the wall, and I lost it. Like, what? Her husband was a truck driver. And you let me, like,
did you leave hairs in the bed?
No, but I was I'm not lying. I was furious.
Full circle.
Simply because I said, you let me sleep here. This man would, like, if I was in heaven, if I'd have just woke up in heaven or hell, probably, you know what I'm saying? I'd have just been like, well, I deserved it. You just let me sleep in another man's side of the bed like that? Wow. But I could tell after all these years,
you slept there too.
You say what?
You slept there too.
I slept.
He didn't know.
Slobbed on the man's pillow and everything.
No, I didn't. I had no idea. And the worst part about it, in the club,
smell his clothes, me.
It was like she the one who made the connection in the club. That's why it's really crazy. But yeah, it's that attention she was seeking.
So basically, y'all saying that women don't have no control over her vagina. Once she loses those things that keeps her loyal, her vagina is open game.
I don't believe
if the principles, we have a lack of self-worth in today's society and a lack of principles. So if the self-worth isn't there and the principles aren't there, absolutely, you're right.
So go ahead, Kelly.
No, go ahead. I will.
I'll just say quickly, we have a prefrontal cortex that we have to make decisions with that part of our brain. Like, you can't pick something up without you intentionally, or it might be subconsciously, but either way, your prefrontal has to tell your hand or whatever to move, to do it. So women saying, I didn't get this, so this just means I went and did it. No, you still made a decision. Either way.
Wait, hold on. Oh, Coach K, you know what affects that though? Love.
I'm waiting for it, Cheeky. No, Cheeky, I told you we're gonna have to talk about this in a separate conversation because I don't want to derail this.
I agree with Coach K. It's very rare that someone's just like, I'm gonna go cheat right now. Usually it starts with thought, and then that thought festers. You think about it, and you're like, why not? And you work it out in your brain. You give yourself reasons why it's okay, but it starts with that initial thought. So
absolutely,
I completely agree.
But when
It's
y'all
not
do
just
it,
like, you
y'all
know
feel
what?
like y'all can still retain y'all relationship whenever y'all just go
I don't like you
give it
saying
up.
y'all. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and
I'm just
I don't believe in cheating. I think if you are wanting to move on with another person, then you need to end what you have going on first, and then
Yes,
make that step. I
100%.
don't believe in stepping out for what. If you want to be with someone else, then you really don't want to be with the person that you're with. So end it and then move on.
so a lot of y'all speaking on just y'all selves, but not really like on the majority.
All of women, I think a woman could cheat.
I mean, y'all know women better than we do. That's why I'm asking. I'm
I
speaking.
think,
Yeah,
to-
it's
I'm
bad.
speaking to the general-
I think if a woman is in a comfortable situation, she's not necessarily just going to walk away from it. But if she feels like she's not getting what she wants, it could be just one thing. My brother said to me, he said, you know, you could give a woman everything, and it could be just be one thing you're lacking. And if she gets that one thing from another guy, she could cheat with him. But you'd be giving her everything else. And he just got that one simple thing. Oh, I just got to cover this one base. But the man that she's with is doing everything else. So she may not necessarily leave him, but she'll step out with another guy that's providing that one missing part of her life.
And in her mind, that's enough for her to do that thing. But again, you still have to have that thought that's going to create whatever feeling it is that makes it seem okay, and you're going to go do it. But I will be honest, Bruiser, no, I don't think, well, this is why I'm a coach. This is why I teach people this. I coach mainly teenage girls, but no, majority of people, even it's actually fun. I love it. I love it, honestly, especially because the brain develops. This is like the biggest time in their life, the second biggest time that the brain develops the most. But I'm teaching them, which most people don't know, even men. But yeah, women are, they'll just blame everyone else out here. It's crazy. I mean, I used to be like that too, but I still, I'm not perfect. I still do it, but not, I don't associate.
I learned a lot because I thought that men had to maintain some type of attraction for a woman to be,
You mean like stay in the gym?
Well, I mean, yeah, I can't just be a fucking blob. You know what I mean?
Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I love a six pack.
Then there's a guy
Yeah.
then I go, I'm looking like a blob, and then there's a guy, what I'm saying, we were at a restaurant, and the guy was waiting at the table is looking like Morris Chestnut, and she goes in there and she starts dripping all over herself. Like, I'm like, yo.
Okay. That does not happen.
Because she's not seeing that, and she come on, man. If we're gonna be honest, we gotta be honest. If your man, if your man loses it, like he lets himself go, y'all telling me y'all still gonna be able to maintain the same?
We're gonna have conversation, that's for sure. Because again, there's so much that goes into physical health. And I'm not just saying this. Like me and my husband talk about this all the time.
You can be like, honey, you know what? We're gonna change your diet, and then you start cooking different. If you want
y'all got a solution. I see y'all have the solution.
You want this, right? You want solutions.
Yeah.
But no, I'm hear you.
Honesty first.
Bruiser.
I am being honest. I'm not like,
it doesn't work.
Camera,
it doesn't work the same way. Like everything y'all are saying is correct in terms of health. Yes, a man should want to keep himself together. That's optimal. Y'all are talking about what's optimal. The reason why it doesn't apply to men is because a woman can say, hey, bro, listen, husband, you're a fat piece of shit. Husband says, word, okay, you don't want to have sex with me? Bet. Then he goes and finds a woman to have sex with. What's the wife going to do? She's going to be jealous, right? So the second, women want what other women want. For some reason, men aren't viewed as unattractive when they're overweight as long as they have the resources, right? There's a reason why it's what is called big boy season. There's no big girl season. Okay, so even in the wintertime, people be showing pictures of dudes that look like teddy bears and stuff. What's that show? Black Ink Crew. Like, you remember when it started? The most popular dude, the most sought after dude was the fat dude. He was just tall and bearded, right? So it's like women want what other women want. One woman found him cute, the rest of them try to fall in line. Ooh, I want him. Don't matter if he's tubby, right? So it doesn't work the same way. Like, come on, like Biggie Smalls, the Notorious B.I.G. had women screaming for him, and he called himself ugly. but he had
But
resources.
he wouldn't have those same women screaming at him if he didn't have that money behind it.
Well, I'm just saying the resources make us attractive to women. It's not the same. Any woman who thinks you're unattractive, go and get holler at her homegirl.
I'm
and let
glad
her
you said
hook up
that.
her
I'm glad
penis.
you said that. The resources make women attractive to us. Now we in a today's society where women can match our resources. So now they can demand that you increase in other areas. Because
No,
hey, look,
no.
your resources is not a thing to me because I'm on an equal playing field. So
And
hey,
I
look,
think that's BS, though.
Yeah, that's BS, bro. That's super BS, bro.
what?
So
I mean, in my
you're
opinion.
talking about. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Coach K.
No, that's it. No, you go.
I was like, you're talking about worldly things changing the way nature works. Don't work that way.
No, well, hold on. Nate, what is resources? I'm not talking about nature as in a woman's supposed to cling to a man no matter what or some shit like that. I'm saying that if you can tame a woman because off the strength of your resources, like a Biggie and be just rest in peace to the brother, but just be at I'm not gonna don't say atrocious. You can't say atrocious after you say rest in peace. If you look ugly and you look very out of shape, and you can still get the finest woman. And back in that time frame, a lot of women wasn't making as much money as they are now. They didn't have access to the level of independence they had today. So I could see that happening. I could see the threshold of that being very high for a man with resources, minus the looks and all that, being able to tame multiple women. But now you got women that can out earn men. You know what I'm saying? So do they really got to settle for that ugliness? If I'm a woman out here and I know that I can go out here and make the same as this guy, and the only reason why he's been taming me for the past 30, 40 years is because of his resources. Now that I can match them, shit.
All right, so let's do it this way.
Pretty much, Bruder's saying the men got to step their game up. It's not all about the money anymore. You have
but
to
it's still BS. Here's
maintain a
why.
certain. I don't know. I think of a very, very handsome man who had a full head of hair, who had a chiseled body. He looked like freaking Brad Pitt or the guy that plays Thor, and he was super fun. The guy that all the women drool over. Yes. If he didn't have money, but he was still this gorgeous Achilles looking dude, right? You're not going to pick the fat blob dude just because he's got money. Between the two, you're going to want the very, very attractive man. If they were both standing in front of you and the one guy was standing with 2 bags of cash and he was just standing there with his abs glistening in the sun, you're going to pick the more attractive man.
Okay, so pick them. So this is the part of what you're saying. Pick him for what? Most women, depending on what part of their life they're in, they're going to pick the fat man with money and go screw the dude that looks like Thor. Let's be real. So back to what Bruiser said.
The woman answer that. They was nodding, bro.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if we're being real.
Wait, are we supposed I'm sorry. No. Nope, sorry. That's my bad. Go ahead.
What Bruiser said.
Spit it out.
I would pick broke Chris Hemsworth over rich Biggie Smalls.
Well, I said depending on what part of your life you're in.
Biggie Smalls humping on top of me. I don't care if we're married, dating. No, I don't want you dripping and sweating all over me and just rapping. No, thank you. We're gonna build together.
This is the error. This is the error where you don't have to date a gremlin or marry a gremlin because of his resources.
All right, let me tell you why that's cap, Bruiser. Because just take take a very well-to-do guy and give him the car, give him all the fixings to attract women. What woman does he qualify for? The best.
Hold on, wait.
All right, if he pulling up in an S500 or S580 Mercedes, all right, to downtown Houston.
Thank you.
For Sunday brunch, all the baddies looking at him. All right, so all the baddies looking at that guy. Now, let's say a woman has the exact same things. What dudes does she qualify for? And I mean, realistically, men don't look for the same things in women. That's why it's like you're telling us to step our game up. A woman with a lot of resources automatically doesn't. LeBron James ain't out here like where them lawyers at, or if he was a single dude, where all these women ain't got time for me at. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, we're not looking for women like that. So women don't have
But this wasn't a matter of what men was looking for. This was a matter
women
of
don't have the same ability to tell men to step their game up.
what I'm telling you now.
but
I'm telling you in this area what feminism has done, and the laws and the closing of the wealth gap, and it's steady closing. I'm saying that because of these things, women can be independent now. And the reason why they were back in the days, I'm saying it's just clear explanation. Reason why they was inclined to dating guys that did look handsome is because those guys had resources, and that was a survival tactic. Now the survival tactic is, shit, I can go fend myself. I'm gonna be with these ugly motherfuckers. It's a new generation now.
So I think, okay, so the reason why I think we're kind of getting off topic is because we were talking about cheating. So when I'm thinking cheating, I'm thinking within a marriage. So if you meet your husband and he's initially all the things that you described, good looking, handsome, in shape, and he gets out of shape, I wouldn't necessarily think it's okay to cheat on him because he's not in shape. I would think we need to do the things to get back in shape because it's the healthy thing to do. But if you're talking about what you would initially choose, that's not cheating. That's like looking at this guy, would I pick this guy over this guy? Then I would think you would naturally want to go for the more people are attracted to aesthetics. That's just, I know.
So I'm glad you brought it back. I'm glad you reeled it back. Because that was my point. So if this guy doesn't, you say he's gonna do the necessary things to get back in shape.
Yeah, like if my husband got out of shape, I'm like, you know what, honey, we need to start getting back in the gym. We'll do it together. I'm gonna start meal prepping. We're gonna come up with a diet together, and we'll get back in shape. Let's make that our New Year's resolution.
The scenario is suggesting that he doesn't do that. When I say lets himself go, that means his body, his mind, all that. Like he's not interested in keeping himself well groomed. He's not interested in eating healthy. He's not interested in that. He just wants to be a lard ass. I'm saying the attraction, y'all can't sit here and tell me the attraction, especially in the sexual attraction, doesn't deplete.
Bruiser, how likely is that? So for example, you would consider yourself a man.
Shit.
No, you would consider yourself a man that's in shape, right? Like you go to the gym, you stay active, right? How common is it for someone with that lifestyle to just, you know what, I'm going to be 600 pounds and you're going to have to feed me because I can't get up to get my own
That's
food.
a lot of work. You have to eat a lot.
Right. Putting on like an extra 50 pounds, understandable. To become a lard ass, as you said, and become 350 pounds is rare.
That was the dream. I pushed it to the extreme because I know y'all wasn't trying to answer it. But yeah, I mean, a guy
We did answer. But Bruiser, let me say this too. Real quick, just yeah. Well, and I hear what you're saying. I think let's say that's the case, that this happens to my husband. And again, someone put in the chat, yeah, I'm young. And obviously we're gonna get older. I'm not stupid, but that's a given. And of course, I'm gonna wrap my mind around that when it happens. Obviously, what else am I gonna do? Be mad we're not young still? But the thing is, though, is like this, no matter what, even if like I'm not as attracted to him, because if someone asks me, hey, would you prefer your husband to look this way? I might say, yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna go cheat. That is, for me, Katie, I would not cheat because of this reason. And also, too, I wanted to say, let's say there is, an attractive woman and an attractive guy, and now she can require more of the guy because of what she makes. We're forgetting another variable, though. Just because she can require that doesn't mean that guy is going to go for her, because however you want to look at it, I'm almost thinking like the market. Like, yeah, you can demand all you want, but or supply all you want, but if no one wants you, then whatever. And I think that women, I was on Reddit today because I like to get ideas for content. I saw 2 posts and I wasn't even looking for them. I don't even follow subreddits that are relationship related. 2 posts of women saying stuff that they were older and they're nervous now that they're not going to find a husband. And I swear to God, it was like the conversations we have on this network. But yeah, so Sorry. That's all.
I mean,
That's all. I know
look
it's a
at the
lot.
All-Star game. Look at the All-Star game paradigm, right? Like when the All-Star game goes to town, if you follow any Instagram models, that's where they're at that weekend. They're all trying to land the baller. They're all trying to land those dudes because those are the best of the best and they have the most money. The WNBA also has an All-Star game. What dudes do you know descend on that town to go find all these women? They make money. They're all 6-figure plus earners.
You're
So
so
what dudes
No,
you
no,
know out
they're
there
not
like
either.
what like it doesn't work that way. Just because they make
They're
more
not
money.
all 6-figure plus earners.
They're all 6-figure. It's 6 figures, but it's not high 6 figures.
No, it's not even. Not all of them.
No,
make
the
six
minimum
figures.
salary is over like, come on, let me look it up.
Mm-mm. If you're an all-star in the NBA, you can probably make 200,000 a year.
So you don't think
All-star in the WNBA.
You don't think the house husbands are going out and putting their best apron on, trying to land one of these WNBA players?
But the
Absolutely
WNBA
not.
players
We don't look for the same things. And
look, the WNBA players to the NBA players, bro, like that's night and day. Like the men becomes more attractive whenever they become athletic and taller, right? Women don't become more attractive when they become more athletic and taller. You get what I'm saying?
You're taking out.
So that's,
I'm talking about the money part of it, bro. Men
but if
aren't
you're
just
trying to
attractive.
convince me that men don't value money the same way, when I'm sold
We
on that
don't.
already.
We don't.
No,
We
you don't need to sell me on that.
Oh,
What Coach K was saying, if he does lack or he lets himself go, she's not going to cheat. My question wasn't that you're going to go that far, but your sexual drive and your sexual attraction is going to slow down, right?
Possibly, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
I'll also say that
And I think that's okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say their sexual drive. So here's the weird thing about it. It's a modern thing, right? It's a product of the superficial nature of modern women. This is not a traditional thing. And remember, traditional does not mean old or antiquated. It actually means standard in relation to marriage. The marriage standard means that a woman stays married to a man because of his provision and how great of a husband and father he not only is, but becomes throughout the process that they're married. There are women who will be more attracted to a man, even though he has a dad bod, because he just got better at all the things she married him for. So I get what you're saying. In the superficial sense, like women want men that are shaped like Thor. Yeah, sure. When you ask them, they will say that. But in their spirit, in what they actually like, if they're being true to themselves, they only become super unattracted to a man if he stops doing the things that make men great, right? That's when they want out of the relationship. If he stops providing, if he stops doing all this stuff, that's true unattraction to them, especially for the man that they marry. My mom, I mean, my own parents, she never stopped. She would do this thing where she'd just be rubbing my dad's back. The more he worked, the more she rubbed his back. He got bigger, she still rubbed his back the same way, right? These
I
women
can't
do
tell you
what
my
they
mom
do out
did.
of duty.
That's kind of embarrassing. But the whole reason why I had these line of questions for y'all, because I just wanted to make sure I can hear it from a woman's mouth that there's absolutely no reason for you to go and give a vagina to somebody else.
I don't believe so.
So whenever I hear women cheating, or one of my buddies call and say, "Yeah, my girl cheated," I wouldn't feel bad if I told him and say, "Hey, look, you need to divorce your wife," because I used to feel bad about it. Because I used to say, "Well, damn, why did she do that? Like, did you do anything to make her to step out?" Now I know. Listen to y'all. There's absolutely nothing a man can do.
But I also believe that a man shouldn't cheat.
Okay,
So,
we
don't ask me.
We
I
can
also
flip
believe,
it and talk about that, but I think
like once
I
you
just
make
want to
that
make sure we're
commitment,
on record for
the
this.
commitment, I mean, you literally stand there and under God to death do us part. You say, like, there are commitments that are made, there are vows. So I think that's on both sides. I don't think either party should cheat. I do think you don't want to be with the person, then you should call it quits. You should leave. But that usually is for extreme circumstances. If there's abuse involved, I don't think you should just call it quits or cheat. I think you should communicate and work it out.
This is why we need definitions.
Why did Gabrielle Union cheat? Because he wasn't providing?
Okay,
Or
we
she was
already
over providing?
she's already kind of, I think she's off her rocker anyway, to be honest. But I would say for me, there's no reason for a woman to cheat. And I can only apply that though to myself. These other women, they might cheat and they might have their reasons, but I don't agree with their reasons being reasons, if that makes sense. Because there are reasons to them, but I still don't agree with it. I would never condone it.
I have a
Does that make
friend
sense,
who
Bruiser?
cheated. I have a
Yeah,
friend who cheated and she told me
that
about
makes
it. She felt really bad for cheating on her husband. But when she told me why she cheated, I wasn't necessarily upset with her. I would have just told her to leave sooner. He was very abusive. He used to try to set her on fire with matches. He used to lock her in a closet at gunpoint.
So
He used to make her bring weird things home to stick up his bum. He was a weirdo. So when she said, I just don't feel comfortable in our relationship, and I met somebody at work and I felt safe and she cheated on him, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I can't believe you cheated. I'm like, you should have left that dude a long time ago.
yeah,
And
that's
even when
wild.
she did meet a new guy, he had to like pretty much threaten her ex-husband to stay away from her because he was a weirdo. So stuff, you don't never know what's going on in a person's household. But sometimes women don't feel safe, they don't feel loved, they don't feel valued, and you really don't know. I don't think cheating is the answer. I think if you're in a situation where you feel like you need to cheat, then you need to just leave.
Yeah, and
Sit for the situation.
so y'all know that. Okay, we all understand that in this conversation we just had, when we talk about cheating, the word cheating, we talking about actually having sexual intercourse.
that's what
Well,
I'm talking about.
that was where we started with the
Yeah.
definition. That's how we started. You
Okay.
you weren't here from the beginning, so we had like a layer.
I was just making sure because God forbid we incorporate all the other nuances like fucking texting somebody and
Bruiser,
That
we'd be
was the
here all
beginning.
night with you.
yeah,
I'm
we,
kidding.
that's what I'm saying. There ain't no point in doing that.
Yeah, sex for sure.
Because it sounded like Trigger Mike wanted to. He kept shouting, "Hey, we need to figure out what the cheating is." I'm like, yo, don't
Yes, I did.
do that. We'd be here all night.
No,
Yeah,
we do need to have basic
she's actually
context.
my best friend, and I know her, and I know her new husband now. So yes,
But I
This
do
was
have a
actually
question.
real
I have-
thing. It really
I have a
happened.
question for the ladies. Let me give some context here. I heard, and I think I've observed, there are men out here that whose wives consent to them cheating, and I've heard that those men cheat less than any other man, the man where it's permitted to cheat. What do y'all think about that?
Bullshit.
I believe it.
I believe it.
Because
believe it.
I bet they have a good relationship in the sense that, well, because I'm even thinking of an example of some men may lie about things because they know that if they tell their wife the truth, even though it's nothing that's harmful, they know that their wife is going to blow up and make it a big deal, so they don't tell her. So then, for example, so then he lies because
Mhm.
he knows he can't, do you catch what I'm saying? I guess.
Yep.
I
Yep.
get what you say. I listen. I agree that it's the women out there that do it. I'm saying the whole scheme is some bullshit. But when I say that, these women that's doing that have a husband that look probably like Tracy Morgan. They don't want to
No,
fuck.
I
They want to
completely
fuck somebody
disagree.
else. So they're saying, "Hey, look,
No.
hold on. Let me
It's
make my point.
actually the top
You
dude.
can,
Yeah,
you can go and
so, like,
cheat.
if
You can go and cheat. I'm fine. She's fucking the other
It's the
dude.
top dudes that have that
If
arrangement.
she got a guy like Chris Hemsworth, she's not gonna say you can go fucking cheat.
Yes, she will. That's the
but she's
difference.
probably cheating and she's completely aware of it. I think when a
Exactly, bro.
woman that is with a
This is
man
big
of a
whales.
certain caliber that makes a certain amount of money, she knows it comes with the territory. And like I've heard, please excuse me, Coach K, especially my Caucasian friends who have very wealthy husbands. It's almost like they're like, he's gonna have his fun, but he's not serious.
Okay, that's different. You're talking about
So-
wealthy people, like rich people. I'm talking
Yeah,
about
it's
just
different things
I thought
like-
you was talking about regular people.
Yeah.
No,
There's,
but even still, I know regular people that have the hall pass, unlimited hall pass. That's what we
I don't
call
know
it,
about
right?
that.
So
Oh, I
the
ain't
reason
never
why I
heard that shit.
believe these men actually do cheat less, is because that woman is doing something very clever. She's taking away the deception, which takes away her pain. She's also disarming that other woman from ever coming to her face and acting like she didn't know. That's a huge part of the reason why people break up. Once
That's
you
all
give that
bullshit.
other woman power over your household, that disarms your wife and like puts egg on her face forever. She's embarrassed, which is why they usually proceed with the divorce. By doing that, you disarm that other woman. So you and you become able to tell him the terms of what you would like. Naturally, we know what all women are gonna say. Don't bring no babies home. Don't have nobody knocking on my door. Don't bring nothing STDs back into my bed. That's it. That's all every woman's gonna say. So you're gonna be like, all right, well, I have license to do this. So you know if that woman ever come to your door like, I've been sleeping with your man. Well, I hope you had fun because it don't mean that you getting money out of this household. I don't know what to tell you.
Man, that
That
is a
woman
mess. That's a huge mess, bro. I get what you're saying, but you
I
made it
did meet
seem
a
like there
couple.
was some benefits,
I did meet a
bro.
couple.
That's all bullshit, bro.
I did meet a couple, and they were swingers. And
Oh,
they
I
were,
was gonna say this is not. So I know a lot of rich people, man. This is their standard arrangement.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, rich folks. Okay, yeah.
That's
Listen.
crazy
I
to me,
don't
but
put
yeah, that's
nothing
one of
past people who get wealth and just go create their whole mind changes whenever they get all this money. But I'm just talking about regular folk like us.
So when I was saving to buy my second home, I was saving to for the down payment on it. I was driving Uber, and I met a lot of weird people. One couple, I picked them up from this place in Florida. I'm not going to mention the name of it. But I was like, oh, what's this place? I was like, I've never been here. And they're like, oh, well, it's the place you go to get all your desires met and everything. And I was like, oh, okay. Interesting. And they were like, yeah, she had a long night. And I was like, what do you mean? He said, well, my wife likes to get pleasured, and I don't care who does it. I'm just glad she gets pleasured. And he just let people do stuff to his wife in this place. He was totally cool with it.
Yeah. So everything I said, you said the opposite. That's not going down over here. Like what?
That is so
But
interesting.
that's what I'm
honestly.
saying. Like, some people are just totally cool with it.
Yeah, but it's got to be some underlying factor. Like he's probably not able to freaking please her.
No.
Or
Oh,
she's
you mean
not, or
her.
he's not able to freaking please her. You get what I'm saying?
No, these
Reminds me of
fetishes,
that one
man. These
Netflix
fetishes
show.
are
I actually watched a porn video. I don't like to put my business out, but a while back I actually watched a
Wait,
porn video.
corn.
There's
corn.
corn.
Corn. I'm sorry.
Corn, like corn on the cob.
I actually watched a corn video, and there was a scenario like that, but I think the woman was going through stuff and she couldn't please her husband, so she asked some girl
This
to come
stuff
over.
happens in real life. In Florida, there's a
I
lot of
believe that
places where
happens.
swingers go, and there's a lot of like nudist areas,
Yeah,
and like
yeah. There's
people
little
walk around
places
naked.
you can
It
go,
happens a
and you
lot.
could like. I think you can be naked in there, or like wear like a towel.
Yeah,
and shit.
there's a lot of those places in Florida. Like they have whole nudist colonies.
It's all a mess, man. That's
there's a
all
lot
a
of those
mess.
places all over the U.S.
It's
Unfortunately.
weird. So I do have a final question, and I kind of want to get the question answered and final thoughts before we wrap. You didn't get the questions. I usually send them out in advance. Sorry, Bruiser.
You good?
For everyone who's heard the statement or the phrase once a cheater, always a cheater, do you believe that is true or false? And then you can give your answer and then wrap up with final thoughts.
No, I don't believe it's true. I used to cheat on my girlfriend. But remember, I prefaced it by saying that if you're not married, you're single. So naturally, it just a man can be. It depends on his, like you said, value system and what he's allowing to guide his principles. So one of the reasons I stayed in my hoe phase so long is because I knew I would have to be one of those husbands that lived on the straight and narrow. I'm the eldest child in my family. Everything I do, I have to lead by example. So I wanted to have all my fun, right? And because once it's locked down, it's locked down. So, it just really just depends on the mindset of the individual and if you're going to call it cheating, why they cheated in the first place. So if we're going to accept the fact that some men only step out when their wife is not handling business, that means we also have to entertain that they wouldn't have done so otherwise. So
I'll say yes. Once you're a cheater, you're always a cheater. Only difference is significant difference is whether or not you could be sober. You just be sober. You know what I'm saying? You
But
a
you think
cheater.
it's
You
still
can't
in you that
take it away.
your nature.
The degree of difficulty you went through to get it done. Yeah, it might have been easy. In a lot of cases, it's kind of difficult to do that and remain, undetected. So the fact that you have a mentality and you're taking the time to think those things through means that it was well thought and you really wanted to do it. Just because you're not doing it anymore doesn't make you not a cheater. You still have the craft. You get what I'm saying? You still know the game. You still know how to do it. You still polish. You're just not doing it because
So an
you
alcoholic
value.
is always an alcoholic then, kind of.
That's what they
Right.
say.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. You just
Even
value
if they've
other
been like
things.
sober
Yeah, even if
forever
you've been
or for like a
sober,
while.
because you could
They
get
say that you're always supposed to like introduce yourself as like I'm an alcoholic, even if they go to like the AA meetings. So I have a question. If you, and that's an extra question. So you think if a husband cheated on his first wife, then he'll cheat on his second wife, or do you
that
think
he
he?
will cheat on her. No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No,
Mm.
I don't necessarily think so.
I think your actions, specifically this is the way you can separate it from alcoholism or drugs. Your actions, they should be walled within the relationship that you have. It shouldn't carry over. That's called like what they call it, trauma bonding in this space.
But then wouldn't they still be a cheater though then? Even if they don't carry
They
their
would be a
actions
cheater.
onto the
They
next.
would. Well, but see, the thing is, the reason why I say you have to separate it from the alcohol and drug concept, because if whatever I do to you, I don't do to all women. If I betray you, that doesn't mean I betrayed every woman in the world. I just betrayed you.
So
So all
then
of my
why would you
sins
still
and
be a
all of my
cheater?
actions and offenses is strictly within me and your relationship, and not with someone else. You get what I'm saying? Because
So you can feel like it's okay to cheat on one woman, but you may not necessarily cheat on another. So
I'm
you're
saying all of my digressions towards one person doesn't carry over to the next.
So
you're
wouldn't
not
that
just a
which
cheater.
so you're not a
Like
cheater
in
then after
entirety.
that?
Well,
You
yeah,
once cheated, but your
you're not
identity is not a cheater.
right. You're a cheater only to the person you cheated on.
And that doesn't carry over.
I could see that. Like
It's not
like
supposed to.
you
Even your hurt, even your pain is not even supposed to carry over.
But wouldn't you say that's like pattern behavior? How could that just disappear? Oh, I met a new woman and now I will no longer cheat. That's not in my nature.
unless they
you got
they
a
did
chance to
work
correct
on it, I
it.
guess.
You know,
Yeah,
But if they
with alcohol and
didn't, then
drugs,
yeah.
with alcohol and drugs, it's something that you put inside of you, not something you projected on somebody. So you don't
Yeah,
get like
but
alcohol, you don't get a new body every drink, every
yeah,
drug
but
or every blunt, you don't get a new body to put drugs and alcohol in. This is different. It's something that's going outwards. You get what I'm saying? It's pain that you're delivering outwards. So that pain is
wait,
only
what
restricted to that one person. Once you go to the next
you're only
person, this person is a new being, this person has a full heart. They don't have any expectations of you unless they know your history, and unless they're under the understanding that you haven't got any therapy or healed from your situation.
I don't know. I think
So-
cheating is pattern behavior. If you cheat on your girlfriends and you cheat on your girlfriends and you cheat on her, and then you get married, you cheat on your wife, and then you cheat on her, and then you cheat on her with a new
Okay, yeah,
woman.
well, see, that's what I'm saying. When you creating the pattern with the question, but
Mhm.
we're under an assumption that look, hey, okay, so I cheated on my ex-wife back in 2008.
So you're a
He
cheater
did it so
then.
much he doesn't remember when.
I didn't get married again until 2016. You get what I'm saying? I didn't have
So you're
a
always gonna be a
serious
cheater
relationship until then. I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I had time to grow. I had time to heal. You know what I'm saying? That person I was before is not the person I am today. So
No.
Right.
she
So
can't
you're not
use
a
that.
cheater
She can't.
then.
No. But if let's say in 2016, I remarried my ex-wife, I'm still a
Okay,
cheater.
so to the cheatee that you cheated on. Okay.
Yes.
I see how
Yes.
you're answering the question now.
Yes.
Sorry, I don't sorry, I didn't realize like you were like answering it from like that perspective.
Precise.
But no, that makes sense. Yeah, the person Kelly, were you thinking that? Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
I never understand the questions he's asking. Someone
Yeah.
over. Always has to
If
reiterate
I
it.
remarry my ex-wife, it doesn't
Okay.
matter. I am a cheater. I betrayed her. You get what I'm saying?
It makes sense
So
now.
to
If
that
I don't do it
person.
anymore, I'm just sober. You know what I'm saying? That means
But
I've
it's
learned and I'm not gonna do it anymore. If I meet a whole new person, she can't use what I
yeah.
did to another woman against me. You don't know my
Yeah.
path. You don't know the journey I took to heal. You don't know if I changed or anything. Like you have to give me the benefit of doubt. You know what I'm
So
saying?
what if you were the woman he cheated with and then he married you? Could you still call him a cheater because you know of his cheating behavior because he cheated on his wife with you?
Hold on, wait. Can you answer that again? You said, what if I'm the man?
Okay, like your second wife. What if you cheated on your first wife with her? She knows you're a cheater, right?
Right. If
Ooh,
I cheated
that's
on
a
my
that's
first
a
right.
that's a
So
good
yeah,
one.
so she's within reach of the entire offense or the scandal.
You just
She's
made
a
this
part
question
of
so
the
confusing, Bruiser.
she's a part of the whole scandal.
I need you to be precise in your
She's
question.
a part of everything. Once we're all having sex, we're in a sex circle. We're in an entanglement.
Yeah. So
Oh
I
my
guess
God.
when I hear that question, I think of in general is if I see person A and they cheated at some point, they're always going to be a cheater, which in my mind means they're going to cheat on this person and they're going to cheat on this person. Like they're always going to have that inherent desire or need to cheat. I guess that's how I like perceive the question, but I would agree
No, you
as far
can't.
as if you're go ahead.
The reason why you can't do that is because if I'm with this woman and I'm going through
No, I don't
things,
believe that though. I was saying that's how this question sounds. Like
I get it. I get it.
so because I
Because I
agree with
wouldn't.
you in the sense. Go ahead.
Because I like there's things that like okay, so there's things me and my wife went through that doesn't necessarily have to go on between me and another person that actually triggered me to cheat. You get what I'm saying? Or it could be she had let herself go, or she's just a certain way that just caused me to want to step out. Like I'm not gonna put my behavior was triggered by her actions. You get what I'm saying? So that's not to say that the next woman I get in is that it's gonna be the same triggering effect that caused me to go ahead and step out again. You get what I'm saying? It's all depends on who you with. You know what I'm saying? Who you messing with? Do we have chemistry? Can we get past infidelity? Can we conquer infidelity together? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It all is all about how y'all two work. The way
I
we
could
work
dissect that,
may
but I'm
not be
not
the
going
same
to. I
way
know
me
what
and
you
my
mean.
ex work. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, I do
Yeah,
have a couple
I know
of
what you mean.
super
Go ahead,
chats.
Kelly.
I do. So everybody, get your final thoughts, your wrap up points, because we're about to end. I do have a
I'm
couple
good. I
super
don't got
chats. I
nothing.
don't want to forget those. We have one from Wyatt 856-999. Thank you. It always comes down to the repetition. A man with a reputation. Did he mean reputation? Reputation. A man with a reputation of being a ladies' man is wanted by other women. A woman with the same reputation isn't desirable by a man to be his wife. Thank you for that, Wyatt. And then we have one from John the Baptist, $5. Thank you. Communication is the key to marriage. Always communicate expectations in marriage. Always hold your spouse accountable to what is communicated. Thank you, John the Baptist. Sounded very biblical. And thank you for baptizing Jesus. Okay, so anybody have final thoughts? You guys.
Yeah, I mean, on the topic,
Yes.
wow, we went over virginity for most of it, but if the topic is cheating, as it relates to relationships, if you aren't married, you're single. It is good to start practicing good behavior and principles in a relationship, but make sure it's a true courtship and that you're actually vetting that woman for marriage or that man for marriage. And in a true marriage, if you are going to, if you understand that you like the pleasure of multiple women and even into a marriage, you want to experience that, you got to be upfront about it. As I said before, most women, when told exactly what a man's expectations are, she might actually say yeah, and you can get that way before you even decide to propose. That will make it a lot easier going into the relationship on what the expectations are. So just be open with your spouse and or, potential spouse in the arena of what constitutes cheating and you stepping out to see other women.
I agree with that. Coach K, final thoughts?
Overall, I would say, I mean, we just talked about so many different things. This was a great
did.
conversation, but I would say overall, as a wife, I'm always going to take ownership for my actions and what I choose to do. And that means, and I love my husband. And of course, I'm going to make sure that I'm doing things that reflect that. And also my faith, we were talking about that earlier. I don't believe in cheating, especially for women. I would never condone it. I think we're all adults here. You made an adult decision. You got to own that shit. So, but overall, I mean, this was just a great conversation. Very interesting. I had a good time. So, yeah, that's pretty much my final thoughts.
Thank you so much. Precise, would you like to wrap us up?
Appreciate that. All I gotta say is I appreciate you allowing me to come on here. It's a great show, great panel, great conversation. Hopefully I'll get invited again the next time.
Thank you for coming on. Even though it was last minute, I appreciate you joining us. And thank you for everyone who is watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And you can become a member if you would like. It will be great. I don't know all the perks to becoming a member of this channel, but I will know by next week. I promise. I'm going to try to find someone from a culture that has multiple husbands. That's going to be my goal for next week. But thank you for joining. Thank you for everyone who watched. And I hope you have a wonderful week. Stay
Thanks,
tuned
Kelly.
for next week's show.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.